This starts to heat up in just a second. It's always what we've talked about and highlighted in these showdowns. When it is this sort of conflict within a region, these teams against each other in this situation, they bring out the best of each other. I think it's fair to say. And these are two teams that have, they've been battling against each other and bringing out the best of each other inside the region itself. The fact now it is this life or death situation, this life or death game. They're trying and closing in on knocking on the door of fighting their way back towards that grand final from the lower bracket. The first and second seeded teams from within the region in terms of the current performance of the region that is, and I don't say this in any small way, dominating this competition.
They definitely have been. Don't know if you, by the way, just heard of it. As soon as the map loaded up, so as soon as the start button was pressed, as we good casters do every now and then, everybody, they all started cheering already as well. So the mental is really going strong. They are ready to go. They are waiting to get underway on Kafe. Both these teams hungry to make sure they make the top 4 of the 6th Invitational 2021. Hopefully for them, have an opportunity on lifting that hammer, because that's what it's all about here. LATAM currently has the best chance it's ever had. NIP came really close last year. And they're in the mix again, actually. Top 3 confirmed. They are in the upper bracket final, and maybe, who knows, are going to be able to put themselves up in the grand finals. But that's not now. No, this is
that's a little bit ahead of ourselves.
It's a little bit ahead of ourselves.
A little bit ahead of ourselves.
The other 2 LATAM teams that we're talking about right
now. Yeah, 2 of the 4 LATAM teams that are fighting for the place and playing, obviously TSM, who are able to push themselves forward to the situation of looking at, I guess, 2 more games? 2 more games on that run across the lower bracket now. Bar and Cocktail, we start off. This is a map which we talked about a little bit earlier. It was severely hidden the entire time, the entire run by Liquid. And we watched them play a game on it and absolutely decimate it.
That was it, right? It was hidden and we're like, well, could go away.
Yeah, it's this curious moment, because we've seen it a few times from FaZe. We've seen Kafe at least twice, I believe, over this tournament. Even more. Liquid had banned it consistently across the leagues in regional play up until this point. And then they played it earlier today, and yeah, they slapped on it.
I think that is a good summary. They definitely slapped on it, and now they're going to try and redo that. But we're finding ourselves in a famous LATAM matchup again. And those normally do not really look like what we're used to be seeing from for example, LATAM against NA. These teams know each other through and through. They know their weaknesses and will try to exploit them. And sometimes that requires a little bit more pace, a little bit more aggression than normally would be brought. Either way, the action phase is underway. The first of many here that we will still have throughout this best of 3. And let's see who's going to be starting off this scoreline, who's going to be picking up this first round. As FaZe is setting themselves up to go to that top 4. Hatches will be opened up, and all that allows them to get these drones in. But already 3 taken out quite quickly.
Yeah, cool. As you said, quickly dropped. I like the pickup here of the Warden, because what we've seen from the quick approaches on FaZe on the top floor is a lot of smokes, a lot of cover, a lot of let's obscure sight lines on what is a pretty tough skylight to drop in, which they've done a couple of times. We've said sometimes too much.
Yeah.
They've kind of dedicated themselves to the push. To be fair, though, for all the times that that's sort of been mentioned, they only really hammered it down in their first showing against BDS. And then since then, I think they sort of learned, well, we can tweak a couple of things and we can bring a slightly different approach here, and that's what they've opted for. It's the pressure around the top of Red and Cigar. That's a lot of stuns into the eyes of a shotgun that's getting a little bit of support from the Jaeger around the backside. Nesk has sort of gravitated towards that door of the Cigar shop, but there's not been the follow-up pressure from FaZe yet, and we're seeing a lot of utility thrown in. Here comes the controller space. There goes the smoke canisters, and you're assuming a man with a special set of goggles, well, he is waiting patiently to absolutely tear them up.
Oh, at the moment the goggles will run out, it's going to be able to at least pick up 1 kill, and with that, drop that diffuser. Was aware of the fact that the man dropped down on the new balk, and as kills come down either way, it's going to be the question whether or not that diffuser can be recovered, and if they can try and get that plan down in these last 60 seconds, because Paulo seems well aware of the position of the member right next to him.
Nesk desperately trying to set himself up inside the cigar shop as the cover actually comes over the side, hoping that baits the play round on the split, but it's Palu. In the meantime, confirms and locks off one more. That is a very isolated body underneath the new balk right now. He's going for a bit of a swing and a swan either way, as he's intensely alone, and that's the big problem. It's a big, big blow of space as he's finally able to get a little bit of a shoulder of support here, but Nesk's on the door. He gets locked out instead, and Astro gets a vital pick, but with only 20 seconds left, and this huge bout of no man's land with the deployable camera offering cover, Palu just going to swip for a quad. He's going to go find the 5th, hopefully, as he hops over the side of Lumber. There it is! There's an ace!
It was the battle of the aces, wasn't it? I think, was it Astro that had a quad kill as well, or was I completely mistaken in that one? I might have completely missed that. No, okay, completely missed that. I thought when as Astro managed to pick up a kill, at the same time, Palu got the shot down onto the member that was downed, and it's that quad kill. I'm like, ooh, is this going to be like the battle of the quads here? But no. Mind me, Palu starting it off strong. Liquid with round number 1 under that belt.
I was going to say, that's maybe one of the first Warden aces.
I think it might be.
In the history of Siege. But then you're like, oh, it's an MPX in Latin American hands.
Well, and it's Palu.
And it's Palu. It's entirely 2 entirely fair points that bring, I think, Warden to an Excel point. It was that back line, and they set up that operator and that hold for just that reason, for him to have a big impact. They didn't obviously set it up for the ace clutch situation with a sliver of health. And you've got curiosity piqued by an operator.
I've got my curiosity piqued. I'm gonna spell it out. Amaru. Yeah, Chowder. Take that.
Okay, so it was on Twitter. People were asking why do they pronounce it Amaru, because a lot of people pronounce it Amaru.
Yeah.
And I think technically either's fine, but we wanted to be petty about it because someone else was involved and China was involved. So we messaged some of the people that work at Ubi, the script writer, Simon. Lovely, lovely person. And they went through the recordings for us. Didn't have to. Went through the recordings of us. Amaru.
Because I remembered that Harry said it once during SI 2020 Stadium event.
In the Stadium event, it was said by Harry. And, you know, if anyone's going to pronounce it right, Harry.
Yeah, so, you know, he's the employee. I assume he knows how to...
That's how he says it.
That's how he says it. And that's why I pick it up like that. So, I mean, you know...
Maybe, so if we're wrong, Harry's wrong, and
he's
inside the world, and you can't fight a character that's inside the canon of the world of the game. Okay, Team Liquid, 1-0. Amaru's on the board. They're in the position of Souls with a diffuser. I love the idea of the hatch coming up from underneath here on Freezer. It's instantly, I really want this to happen. It's dangerous. It's been played once that I've seen in recollection of that play. You just dig yourself up behind the dining table. But it takes a lot of situational awareness from your team and a lack of situational awareness from the defenders to be able to pull it off. And they've built themselves on a method of slight control. Cyber wants to be the first swing around to the back of the Freezer here. Pops, but doesn't get rocked as the follow-up. Liquid, they're not throwing themselves too aggressively at these fights.
Definitely haven't been yet. There's no need to. They can just stay put, let FaZe come to them. Like, FaZe is running the rush strategy here, you gotta say. Well, rush the higher paced one, considering they have the Amaru. And, well, there it comes. The grappling hook is ready to go in. They're just waiting for the call to be made. And there you go. Souls is inside. He's going to be receiving some damage right there, but they're well aware of his position. Will be able to pick up 1. Is going to be able to pick up 2. That is the big question here. As he goes prone next to the dining table. Yes, will be able to pick up 2. And Cyber moves up the stairs and grabs another one as well. It's going to be Paulo that strikes back, however. A 3-on-2. Sees one spot. No, he does not. And it is going to be Cameraman and Cyber to lock it off. FaZe are able to draw it back up with a quick Amaru just entering, able to pick up a double kill. And with that, they managed to snowball up onto the white stairs, dropping back down, getting the kills and reading and everywhere else. 1-1.
Back and forth. And I think anything else was a false expectation at this point. am so excited to see how this game just progresses, because both these teams know exactly what's on the line. Both these teams know the situation and position they're in is one of everything or nothing. They have to give it all on this last game of this day to have that spot, that progression, and that chance at lifting the hammer. They both have found themselves already in a situation of battling many, many different giants and behemoths of the scene, but these are two that were, for a lot of people, favorites. And I guess we're in a situation of there's only really a couple of favorites left. There's still this big swan of the Latin American region all the way across the board, and they want to be there. They want to be the ones that get to bring that one home.
Every team wants to be the team that is going to be the first SI winner of LATAM. NA has to. Europe has to. Someone needs to take it home here. And while there is currently 4 LATAM teams still trying to fight for it, one will be eliminated here, but that will still leave 3 left. And then we are still having the North American team in the mix as well, Team Solo Mid. Looking to, well, make it happen, really. Because I think if you're looking at the actual favorites that we appointed at the start of the SI, there's only currently 2 left. And that is TSM and Liquid. And currently, both in the lower bracket. So neither of those will be having the map advantage throughout the grand final. So a bit big to fight back in. First, they're going to have to make it through. Oh, that's an unlucky bounce of the drone right there. Cameraman will have to rethrow that one, and now will succeed getting it further than you would like to have. And as Souls is playing on that Kali, he's going to be having the opportunity to watch these long angles. Just a single shot is all you need to down or DPNO one of these operators, and as the smoke will pop, that allows the potential of the Selma to pop, but I believe that was an impact grenade indeed that was tossed in, and that will force Astra to go for a second Selma. The second one will miss, however, Sexy Cake will not.
Well, that's a big pick, and being able to get away without being punished in revenge as Astro is off the board, you lose. Obviously, the remaining Selmas there, it makes the break and the breach here on this close corners around the side of the bakery a lot tougher with the double down hard on that back wall. You do still have gun skill and you have a lock off, but positions like the Kali now, Souls is going to have a tougher time swinging in with anything other than that SMG. The long barrel in that gun won't be able to tear through the angles all the way deep towards Code as we've seen it played before. PSK still off on the loose on the roam, holding above and keeping himself occupied and busy, with Nesk also raising curiosities, but FaZe have gone for a bit of a big rotate here. They're double-checking themselves inside the back of VIP. They're looking for the fight round the door, and Nesk sees someone but slips away. Doesn't want to take the confrontation just yet, and that allows Cyber to buy some room and space for Bullet to start the pressure coming in from Coat.
It's often a critique to not instantly go for a re-peek, and indeed will do so, saving his life, giving away the information that a player is out there and decides to save his life. You never know when it will come in handy later. Because if you go for that re-peek, you might just be shot at by 2 of these players as Cyber is trying to clear out Dining and take control of that hatch. Will do so, and well, in the meantime, it's Sexy Cake that will be able to pick up a kill as Paolo now drops as well.
Well, PSK around the backside gets taken out in Zulu, and Cyber. He's always that man that you sort of look to as the drive and the fire inside FaZe, but it's Nesk that gets some revenge on Bullet inside Coat. Steadily Souls is cracking his way through a wall, but with 15 seconds, well, he finally pops off the last bit of the lock, and he's going to try and stick this diffuser around the backside, the smoke canisters. All capped in pocket. Cook a man, push him into an uncomfortable situation. He only has an option to go for a fight, but it's a loose run away. And Moringa slips out of there.
Has to run indeed. A teammate there died and had to make sure that they had the opportunity to still win that round. So what you do then is just run. Wait for the timer to hit 0-0-0 and you try and push back towards the site as that would fix. Of course, the potential of the plant there is you could then take him out. Nothing they could do, go off and lose the round or stay on and get killed. Beautiful shot there from Sexy Cake. Just waiting for the Selma to pop. But that again, beautiful shots for him coming down.
Yeah, very big picks there. And the ability to sort of, you know, it plucked away at that approach. I said at the start of it, Liquid weren't being too massively aggressive and that they weren't kind of actively peeking the outside. They could tell where the approach was coming from. But then as soon as the walls started to fall, if they were in a position to, they were like, yeah, I could take this fight. I could take this fight. I could put some damage in, and did, dropping the haze first and limiting those Selmas when the initial approach was that attempt on Bakery was such a big blow to FaZe. They came up with a good rotation and idea, heading back over the top and finding those loose players as well, built on the work of Cyber. But when you find yourself having to come up with a plan B quite quickly, it does leave you a little bit scarpered for time.
It does leave you a little on time indeed, and going back to the top floor now, Liquid are preparing.
10 seconds remaining.
New Drummer set up, Banshee set up. I believe, oh, no, we do not see the, okay, I was going to say we do not see the extension into Pixel, but we do now. No ADSs, however. Means that the shield will just be given him, oh, there, okay, never mind, I didn't say anything. Or is Ness?
He's smashing benches. He has to do the appropriate destruction.
I saw him run off after, so I'm like, well, he's not going to put down any ADSs, because otherwise you'd do that first, but no. Never mind. I didn't critique you. I was just under the impression that you might have forgot. But they're still down, and that means that Pixel will be a tough spot to deal with again. Not as tough as it used to be, mind you, because when the ADS has had 2 charges, it's literally toss everything you had at it. You might be able to take care of the shield, even with a Momai sometimes playing there, which is, of course, banned right now.
The Capital removal against FaZe has been something that makes this push for them a lot tougher. They were a consistent pick and play of Capital on this site in general, usually in the hands of Cameraman, I believe was the one who brought the mantle of those smokes to pop inside the corners. They've sort of set themselves up for a similar operator take, potentially a similar lineup as they had before. They have a lot of flashes to burn all the ADSs to make sure that those 2 frags or 2 smokes click where they need to. You have the track stings as well to limit some of the movement, but it seems like it's a little bit more of a minor part in terms of the push itself.
Yeah, it definitely is, and you need to get rid of these players as well, and that is something they were struggling with the last time around, so now Bullet trying to make that happen with a grenade, but it's just being blindly tossed in and will not be doing too much damage. Palu not really struggling from it, not really worrying about it. And as a result, they still don't really have a pick. They want to drop, but it looks like they might be relocating now as 2 men are repelled up on the eastern side. And well, Cameraman right here on the southern side is looking to maybe put up some pressure onto Planks or maybe even into the bathroom. I'm not quite sure.
Wow, this is an intense amount of pressure around the back line. They've gone for a slightly alternate pick here, and Bullet's the first one able to make it happen. Cameraman digs himself deep, but didn't see the man hopped up on the lumber, but it's a quick slew of bloodies and bodies all over the top of the floor here. The top of white falls into the hands of Cyber, who's trying to find the fight on the backside with Bullet steadily approaching from the other off as the split goes for the double. In the meantime, Cyber's been able to take over the site for a second before Palu finds himself yet again the last man standing in this situation, yet again with only a sliver of health, but luckily and thankfully a huge amount of intel. The camera goes. So does a lot of the time now. 30 seconds for Bullet to steady his way through. Doesn't have any more frags, but does at least have a rough idea of where the man was seen last. Look at the diffuser though. It's far away. It's out the building. Bullet has to take this fight. He does not have the time to try and get it and go for anything other than just a 1 versus 1, and that's how the game's going to be played, pre-firing towards the freezer, trying to work on the little info that they have, which is very little. Hops around the back, doesn't see him, sprays through, and that'll give a bit of the intel away. Palu's behind the bar, hopped up, and gets 1 more round for Liquid.
Stays patient there and doesn't move, just holds tight behind the safe spot, holding off one of these angles, and as the sound comes in, he knows exactly where his opponent is going to be coming from. And as a result, pops up at the very final second, right before he would be seen himself. And catches the man off guard while still running. Moringa right there, just popping up out of the smoke. Able to pick up a kill before being taken care of himself by Cyber. Taking some very important kills, dropping that diffuser down on the balcony, for example, really crucial in making sure Liquid stay ahead, because that forces FaZe to hunt for these kills. There is no way they can get the plan down, and they now need to get those kills. They failed to do so, and Liquid does win the round. 1-3. Current scoreline. Reading Room Fireplace is going up next. Let's see what the setup will look like. Last time around, we saw a quick push coming down from FaZe. Amaru able to put up some big damage, allowing Cyber to rotate up to the white stairs as the player already took care. Sex Cake, I believe it was. No, not Sex Cakes. other side, cameraman, took care of the Souls. Sorry, took care of the player onto the white stairs. Allows Cyber to rotate up and then get the top floor control. And with that, you start snowballing the actual site. And as we are 1-3 up, FaZe chose to not go for the Amaru, which is logical because you're not going to be pulling that play off twice. They would find a way to adapt to it. Either a player is going to be playing inside a train, will be able to hold it off a bit closer. Maybe a frost mat would have been put up there to make sure that the repel in wasn't going to be as successful. None of that is the case, of course. Like, Liquid will continue to play their own game currently, and FaZe will try and find out what that game will be. They'll use their drones, and Cyber is at the bottom of the white stairs waiting to be droned in and waiting to get some information, as that is a very early pop from the smoke. Ringa doesn't scare it away though, he's just holding that with a shotgun, hoping someone will come close.
Yeah, they're playing the utility early. We've seen them put pressure with the utility early and not quite have the follow-up, but they are, a team that adapts and moves and is a bit malleable when they need to be. There is the tracks around the back of the red stair, and that pump will give a lot of the intel that, well, we've separated you. You can blow your way through. You've got the potential of an impact in pocket if you need to go for a big rotate, or you shoot your way, but it's very audible. So taking the fight, depending on when you do it, depending on how much attention you want to drive yourself, if any, is the big risk and the big sort of payoff here. But the slow spread of FaZe players is meeting the Liquid players here on this eastern side. They're wanting to try and find a bit of a bite round the back. They're hoping the Liquid players get a little bit antsy with the movements and the momentum that's steadily encompassing this top floor. It's all the way across. It's a big round hold, and they've cut off the rotations, most importantly. So if any of these players are suddenly under pressure, they have to take laundry, but there's a body not too far away. If they want to try and hit white, it's there too. It's a steady moving of that Twitch drone and removing of parts. Sexy Cake hops out of there. He realizes the pressure is mounting, and that leaves just that one body, that one sole player up on the top. And he's not looking too healthy right now.
Now gotta stay put there, not move. There is still some LV lances left and will be used now to try and get rid of the shields. PSK's under some pressure now. Impacts will be tossed in, but will not be dealing the damage that is necessary. FaZe is inside on that top floor and are able to pick up the first kill. Astro starts off the tally. One underway. Nitro, however, tossed up from Nask onto the ceiling, will be able to respond onto Astro. Bringing it back. 4-on-4. Palu still aggressive onto the pillars here, is in a very key position. Can shut down any reading room take that might occur. And as they're about to move in, it is going to be a potential shot that comes through from Palu here onto Souls.
Wow, Moringa locks off one, but suddenly Cyber's found his way around into the close corners. He shoots at the Banshee, but there was a body waiting for his approach either way. They have this down. It was a trade situation. It puts them in the man advantage, so it might have been called by the body that went down, but with 10 seconds, you can't focus on that because there's more important work to be done. It starts here. Nesk on the close door. The diffuser's drop. There's one more, and there's a shotgun. Both. Cuts him through.
No way you're allowed to do that.
Nesk tore that door open and tore them apart. They are getting heated on that stage.
Playing close. They're getting heated indeed. Playing close, and it's okay if you pick up that first kill, but he was allowed to swap over to his shotgun, which takes a bit of time. The repick was not quick enough, and you should be aware, if it's an SMG, that is most likely going to be empty right after that comes through. You should have been able to go for the repick. You might have had an opportunity to go for a plant, but either way, Liquid are leading, and Liquid are extending that lead as it's currently 1-4. And now Kitchen Service is being pulled out yet once again. The Warden will make its re-entry. And why not? There's been so many smokes being tossed in. There's been so many flashbangs attempted to be used. And as you see again, Nask just allowed to clutch that.
Yeah, that really should have been FaZe's kill on the corner. They had time, they had a moment, but the pressures, the communication, the energy. Oh, it's starting to boil. Liquid tie another round in a row, put themselves 4-1 on their defensive split, put themselves in a very good position to lock off Kafe in this level. They are angling themselves for more and more. I will look towards Nesk, who's picked up the Warden instead of Palu, as before. It's an equally fantastic operator in those hands, but solely with that gun, that kid, and that concern towards the pushes and angles that FaZe love to do, which is those very well-placed smokes against those sightlines, those kind of setups.
Why is the wall reinforced from one? Okay, it's probably just time management. I'm trying to find out if there will be a particular reason why the wall and bakery towards the kitchen has been reinforced one way from either side. But there is no little hole above that, so it will not be to toss a C4 over or to bounce grenades off. Probably it's just because the player was already there putting down a shield and instantly went afterwards. And talking about that shield, that is definitely what Cyber tries to deal with right now. Putting up these concussions, and well, Moringa will be there to catch them, make sure they detonate. And as we now see the impacts being tossed in, I'm not quite sure if the shield has been taken care of.
Well, Cyber is looking to see if he can get just a singular point to pull away from this bakery hold as Cameraman tries to lock off that small bake rotation around the backside of the red corridor. You can see Bullet.
Again.
Yeah, caught as it goes round. They are dedicating a lot here to the bottom of this staircase to make sure they have a hold, but they've also got this extension around the back too. The grenade pops round, but Sexy Cake pops off. Takes care of one and slow drifts his way around the small towards the prep room away from small bakery. It's Bullet that gets Nesk on the backside. That's Kochek that falls, and that allows these blue bodies to start to flood in. There's the cross, and there's the big rifle, and there's another swing. Cyber is able to find the point, and instantly, as soon as Nesk fell, they had small bake, they had momentum, and now they've been able to take over a lot of that side of what they could not manage before.
Be making it really difficult for Paolo on the site right here. There is still plenty of time left. We'll be dealing with the player in Kochek. That's Nitro will get it. Bullet will down. Now there's two left in the bakery. One is actually in the site. Cyber came through Freezer. It's only up to PSK now in a 1v3 situation. Astro has that diffuser, needs to get planting very soon here. 60 seconds. You cannot allow PSK to get into a position where it could potentially stall this out, where he could potentially clutch this out. As he descends from the red stairs now. Will be spotted out by the player. Oh, the miss a shot right there from the Caesar X twice. But the plant will go down in the meantime, and as soon as he stands up, the shot will hit. And the kill will be there. FaZe able to pick up a second round themselves. Staying themselves and keeping themselves into this match. Making sure that they'll stay competitive for the second half, because you do not want to go into a 5-1 split when Liquid is having all that momentum to go with.
Losing sight of Cyber is a terrifying prospect in this game, because he will show up somewhere else entirely on the map in a new position to start a new push or to take a new body. He's so good at just consistently being a problem for any team they play against. Any team, he has been the man where if he's not involved in the entry confrontation, he's helping set it up. He's helping put the pressure that needs to be done, and that drive from a player, that fearlessness, is absolutely shining this tournament.
It is definitely. He's like a sneaky assassin. He started off the push by going through small bake, able to pick up the 2 kills of the players out there, and then rotated around, found himself inside of the freezer to lock off the site control as a result. And now, as you look at it, you would actually look back on that round, and I would say the early round went pretty well for Liquid. There was 2 concussions, 2 impacts, 2 LV lances used to try and get rid of the shield, and yet it stands. And you're like, how? How, when there's only 2 ADSs, you do not manage with that much utility in your pocket to get rid of the shield? So what do they do instead? Well, they just send Cyber around the corner. Send him in a small bag. Let him get the kills. Worked out. Able to clear it out, and from there on, FaZe able to snowball the rest of the site, snowball the rest of the map.
So if you haven't guessed, we're just having a very quick rehost now as we get our players back in. It's a little bit of a halftime oranges. It's get yourself in, get your heads screwed back on 4-2. It's a pretty standard split.
Yep.
For Kafe, it's familiar. It's how it often goes down. It's not too out there, but it's worth also looking at. This was the sort of split, I believe, that we saw earlier. Was it in the Kafe? Was it, or is it 5-1 at the turn of the half?
I think it was 4-2.
Oh yeah, it was 4-2 when they played Empire against it.
Yep.
But in that game, Liquid started on their attacks. So 4-2 on their defenses. And I guess that's that terrifying prospect, because their attacks were very, very creative. There was a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
There was the Amaru up around the backside towards the new sort of balcony around the back of the Maestro, the cover from the audio that comes through. They're a very good attacking team. They are very consistent at pushing the objective as well. Their balance and dance around utility, not to say FaZe isn't, but they haven't had as long to sort of counter-prep and counterplay against this because FaZe came in with Kafe. They came in with Kafe and they played Kafe throughout the groups. Liquid didn't. It was very secret, very secretive.
Yeah, they've hidden it for a long time. Now they're playing it to make top 4. That's what's at stake here. The Maverick will be 6 picked out. A Hibana will be coming in and the Legion will make way for a Frost on FaZe. Of course, the Frost will be there to potentially deny any early round shenanigans. Maybe FaZe afraid of Liquid pulling a Amaru themselves as well. What better way to stop that from just catching her right into a Frost mat as she jumps in any of these windows?
It's, yeah, the old-fashioned Pogmat. It's the way of taking a team that does love to be quick and aggressive by surprise. Yeah, the one that goes behind the cigar shop sort of, well, shop,
it's
counter.
Default, but it's, if you don't know it, if you don't know it's there.
Well, yeah, if you don't know it's there, you've got to think of the stress of when you're in that room. Is if you're in that room, you're constantly at the threat of trying to find the first angle on the fight across the doorway. And it's a delicate dance, and you swing around, and you're trying to get as wide as you can, and
yeah.
You've got a lot of focus elsewhere. And if it goes unchecked and uncontested, it can sometimes go, well, big.
And it's very often a spot as well where players will decide to try and challenge Piano, but then suddenly want a drone, so they'll just hop over the counter to quickly go on their drones in a safe spot. Well, if you didn't drone out the spot, as a Nitro is being prepared right here, it could actually land right on Palu and on Moringa. There he comes! Oh, will not be able to pick up a kill. Palu just able to survive with about 4 HP. Moringa not taking a single point of damage. That Nitro could have already ended the round before it even started.
That was so close. A little bit of a difference in the arc, a little bit of a pop of that earlier, and that would have been a double unbelievable moment there that almost came through, and Palu is going to be thanking his stars as he finds himself playing a slightly more timid game. You now have big concerns. If any of those Goyos pop near you, that's your day done. If those smoke canisters get a little bit too close, that's you dangerously done, and you still have a lot to try and get through with the team, including the aforementioned shields, as well as obviously any of those Banshees that will be screening or burning ADSs to alleviate the pressure on those only 2 frag grenades that you have. It's dangerous corners around Pixel. It's a lot of utility jungling. Oh, or you just take the head off the man like that.
Jesus, Palu, dirty. Just able to take down Bullet. One of these impact players on FaZe. It's not yet the Cyber that you really want to find because he has been able to have such big impacts, especially on the attack, but you cannot help but realize that that Nitro was supposed to kill him and Moringa at the same time, and yet it failed, and yet Palu will just be able to pick up the kill as Sexy Cake just spots a man rotating back and forth, and now will make his position known, knows he's behind the shield, and Cyber will be stuck. He's going to be pressured, probably to rotate. I know, you cannot go nowhere way. He's completely stuck down on literally every single angle.
Yeah.
And Sexy will be able to pick him up.
There was no way for Cyber to get out of that situation.
Yes, he could jump in freezer. That's the safe way.
Okay, I thought that was locked. He took a dangerous gambit instead and paid the price. I thought that was locked, and that's why he went for the wide swing, but he took the fight instead, and you wonder if that was the right decision. I guess we're going to be proved when there's only 40 seconds left. They're eyeing up the top of the skylight here with Souls offering the countenance from before. Cameraman has the back line on the white stairs with the Goyo shield to pop to buy them at least 10 seconds on the swing round with the Banshee, and that canister going, it forces the Liquid players slightly further away. They've got to try and dig their way across the top as they have. The desk starts to fall, as does that back line. Cameraman wants to swing back round, but they're going to stick it behind the default and hope that they can hold on to the cover, but it's Astro able to get one more. Palu pre-fires the rotation on the split side, but it's a post plant. Buys them a very precious amount of time. Slips past! Astro gets one, gets away! Which is a big possible moment here as it leaves just Nesk in a 2 versus nobody! Unbelievable retake here. They've just got to clarify the intel that they're alone here. He has the quad and they have 26 seconds. They're playing it cautious. But as soon as they realize that that's down and that's just theirs for locking, well, that is a FaZe hold.
I have no clue he's stuck in the frost mat there. They're happy about it, that's for sure. The shouts are coming out. It could have been an ace if he would have secured it, but it doesn't really matter, right? The round is all that matters at that point. And at the moment that the cover goes off of the rotation, because there could be maybe someone sneaking in from Cocktail Balk, he sneaks past. Perfect timing there from FaZe, and able to at least put themselves a round closer to Liquid to get, you know, fight and work towards that equalizer. And then you start wondering, how did it go wrong? And as we are looking at the replays here, we see Paulo starting off with a very good first pick, and then Sexy Cake able to get a second. That's a two-man advantage right here. Yes, downs are coming in, and you're wondering, how do you lose a 2-on-5 situation? Well, here is why. Astro just in such a powerful spot, able to pick up a double kill, rotating around for the triple, and able to get the defuse in the end. And then you find ourselves on a 3-on-4, but you cannot keep relying on a singular person. Let's just put it up like that first, right? So it was Astro popping off now, able to pick up these skills where he might not have been allowed to do that. So they got to make sure that they show up with the full team the next time around to go to that top floor. Either way, good round from FaZe, able to bring it back, and as we are going to the bottom floor, FaZe is soon to end. We see the alibi coming out from Souls. Not quite sure where the prismas have been located. Never mind. I was going to say.
Another quick rehost.
Another quick rehost.
As we find ourselves back in...
no reinforcements. I was like,
from where are they? Where are they going? Oh, nowhere. From a very selfish point of view, imagine if Astro had known about that fifth body and got the ace, because that would have been both teams opening their defense with a single player getting an ace on the top. And... hey, sometimes these stories write themselves. Sometimes the stories of these showdowns and how these teams clash heads, it's like it's straight out of a TV show.
It is a TV show.
And that explains a lot.
I mean, it's a broadcast.
Are we on TV?
Maybe somewhere someone has put us on the TV.
Maybe.
No, I mean, there's plenty of people watching, so the chances are big someone is watching on TV. If you're watching on TV, let us know, so we know if it's a TV show or not. Okay. Either way.
Yeah, back to Siege, back to talking about the game, and back to the fact that we're now on a 4-3. FaZe have been able to tie themselves in 2 rounds in a row, the last of their attacks and the first of their defenses. It gives them a really sweet bit of momentum, unfortunately broken up by the rehost, which is, you know, nobody's fault. It just sort of happens, and we had one on the split just before. It gives them a bit of a moment to, I guess, talk over the success, talk over what they might be able to bring now and what they can build on the back of this. Because to be fair, that was, as you said, it was a fight against all odds. It was everything's going wrong, let's stick it. They stuck it, and it was a hell of a play. But the only thing that you can really take from that, apart from maybe the changes you might make structurally on the next swing, is the energy, the momentum, the reprieve of almost pulling off that sort of play.
You could hear how much it meant for FaZe when they managed to pick up that round, because they were behind 2-on-5, mind you. Of course, Sexy K got himself stuck in a frost map. Really fortunate. Happens.
I mean, we called it at the beginning.
Yeah, I said, you know...
if they go unchecked on a fast push, it's dangerous. They're a fast push team. They're a team that sees opportunity and seizes opportunity.
And normally in a 2-on-5 situation, if you lose one to a frost mat, it's not going to mean the end of the round.
No.
Right? Well,
usually.
In this case, it did, because Astro went absolutely big, able to pick up 2 kills through the wall into Piano. Well, then suddenly it's an effective 2-on-2 situation, and all you need to do is just have the right timing, sneak it past the plant as sneak it past the cover as the plant goes down. And that's what happened there. 3-4, map number 1. Whoever loses will be flown back to Brazil as their tournament would be over. Not this map, the entire series dies.
Yeah.
We're in best of 3s now.
We're not quite we're not quite in the danger zone, but you look towards what we've got coming up. I mean, it's another coast as the third map, isn't it? It is so much coast we've seen over this tournament.
And I cannot help to think, but weren't there a lot of people like saying like, why do we never see coast? And now watch SI. Here's the coast. They're everywhere.
I feel like, because it came out a few times in the group stages, but in the deciders it's been pretty constant. It's well known, and I think what it does in situations between these two teams in the current meta, Coast doesn't offer itself to the meta too strictly. There's not enough space for Coast physically to be in the meta. And what I mean by that is you'll still see new operators played. You'll see Aruni brought because of what she can offer. Iana with the frag grenades is often taken into the situation. But you can't truly construct a hold with the sight and the creativity that a lot of teams love to stretch on bigger maps with a lot more walls that you can set up these huge angles and anchor holds. Those haven't really changed recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? The bigger a map, the more creative you can get with your setups and with your holds. And the smaller a map or the smaller the side. Take a look at Chalet, for example. If you go to that bottom floor, how do you extend? Like you can maybe go into Trench, but if you then lose control of Trench, suddenly the whole side is opened up. So it's not really what you want either. You want to build up that onion ring we keep on talking about, right? You want to set up multiple layers of defenses outside the side.
Many layers.
You can fall back from.
Yeah. That's the dream. That's the goal. And that's map 2 and 3. We're a bit ahead of ourselves now because we've only seen a taste of the defense so far with FaZe now taking over the mantle. We're getting an idea of Liquid's attack again, but we had a bit of an idea of that earlier when they 4-2'd Empire on their split. And beyond strong. It was cut off before it really got into a swing there, I think, and obviously a couple of moments went away from them, and then it was pulled back pretty well by FaZe on this clutch situation. But I want to see the extension of this across all of the sites. I want to see what happens if they start to meet more of a heat. Where does Liquid's attack go on this map when it's put under pressure? Because in a lot of moments and a lot of reasons in the Empire game, it really wasn't early on, and we didn't quite see Liquid fully tested. As I expect, FaZe will probably be able to give them a really good challenge here.
They should be able. They know Liquid very well, of course. These teams have been playing each other throughout the regular seasons, and as you can maybe hear, the clapping in the background is starting, and that means that we are getting underway. You can definitely see it as we are on the cams. Round number 8 is about to commence. Now, we were supposed to go to the bottom floor before. I'm not sure if that's still going to be sticking. Yes, we go. Kitchen service, kitchen cooking will be coming underway. And let's see how Liquid will attack that. As we got a DC. We get a DC. We're missing someone for now. We'll wait just a little bit.
We'll be
patiently waiting to finally see round 8 in just a couple of seconds.
It's been a long day in a very hot room, so the servers.
Luckily, the lights are dim now.
Luckily, yeah, the lights got dimmed in our little sector. But, it's, again, time to talk. They cannot talk with the coaches during this, obviously. The coaches can sort of give them fist bumps and raise the morale and the mental in that manner. They're always a presence, especially in Latin American teams and the region. I love how the coaches are so involved with the teams.
I love it. Like when you're watching as well, you see them like making all kinds of gestures. Like the closer they get, the higher the arms will go.
They feel every single moment of a round. And, coaches and regions have very different styles, and there's always these different approaches. But a constant that's always been with Latin America teams is their coaches are on the stage, off the stage, you assume, which we obviously don't get the pleasure of seeing, part of everything. They're part of the energy. They're part of the family. They're part of the team. They part of the momentum. Just them being on stage, just them, as you said, getting close, getting their arms up and keeping that alive. And, it's 6 people with voices screaming on the stage against the world because obviously, unfortunately, fans can't be here to be those extra voices. But these coaches, alongside the players, they fill the role of a room of thousands of fans, I think.
Wait until the coach is going to start chanting their own name. Like, they quit.
It wouldn't surprise.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
I would be very happy if that happened. But it's so great to see, and I think it's one of the reasons that we've seen such a great tactical lead-in from these teams over this period of time. Is this closeness, this sort of, I don't know if solidarity is the word. It's they're all standing together, sure, but
I think like the beauty of the coaches we see with Latam is they're very as the backup is being given there. By the way, that's also
when I said they were close, this is what Yeah,
you need to make sure that your carry is able to perform.
Get them relaxed.
Get them relaxed. Make sure that their flicks are going to be on point.
Did you see Milos's video of Silence playing piano?
I did see that.
Exceptionally talented pianist.
I was kind of sad that I was already in my hotel room.
I know.
And I missed it. Like,
they was playing. There's a piano downstairs in the hotel, and Milos caught him playing a sonata this morning, and it was very, very talented.
yeah, but the point I was trying to make,
Sorry, I interrupted.
before I got interrupted by the back rubs that were coming in, surely very welcome by any of the players. But the point I was trying to make is like, it's so nice to see when these coaches have such a big influence. And it's in these small things, right? Because
100%.
every single time when FaZe lose around, you see them all giving boxes to each other, right? Just quickly touch each other, just be like, you know, we can go on. But like when they don't, it is that coach that is like, come on, boys, let's go. Like, elevates the mood again. Like, you are there to make sure that they stay in the positive, like the most positive mood they can be. And of course, you'll talk when things go wrong. Of course, you call in that tactical timeout if it's necessary and things need to be discussed if you see that it goes wrong. But you do not need to use your voice to make sure that your boys are doing well. Mm-hmm. And that is the beauty of it.
Well, I've just gotten word we have everybody back in. Thank you for bearing with us as we got ourselves onto the second half and the split of this first map on Kafe. If you missed it, well, FaZe has just gone and taken their first defense, pushed the 4-2 to a 4-3, and now we head down to Kitchen. They locked off Bar on the very top floor. It came down to almost an ace. The last man was MIA, as far as the defenders were concerned, trapped in a frost map. Slightly further away, they got the defuse off and popped off not long after. There's been a bit of a lull, a bit of a break as we got everything rehosted, and now we find ourselves down on the Kitchen. And it's a second attempt for Liquid to see if they can lock off a little bit more success on their attacks.
Well, they had a good round, let's put it like that. It's just unfortunate that there was a player that decided to be like, hey, we want to win rounds as well, so we're not going to let you pass much further than this. Either way, round number 8. This is where Liquid has the opportunity to show that their mental fortitude is among some of the best in the world, you can almost say. As Cyber here going for a spawn peek, not able to find anything yet, as I believe no one has spawned at Christmas. Cams are being taken care of though, so definitely people around, but it's Liquid that is not really falling for these spawn peeks, not for the early ones at least. And right now want to make sure that they take the initiative yet once again, because they did that so well during the previous round. It's the first Nitro gets popped without any point of damage coming in. That is 1 out of 2 Nitros they have. Yes, there's still 4 impacts available on Cameraman and Souls combined. Now, they might be used to create some vertical if there's only 1 person on site. If a drone goes in, this could be very dangerous for FaZe.
And that's the danger game that they're sort of bounding around in right now. It's, can they, I guess, hold that arm's length? Can they keep that lockdown? Cyber's going for that rotation, that roam. Nesk, in the meantime, is hunting people steadily further above. The Buck can do huge bits in terms of shepherding, but you've got to be able to get some consistent and kind of comfortable control over the top of mining. And with Cyber sort of bouncing around up and down the back of the white stairs, it's, I guess, down to how convinced they are he's not suddenly going to try and swing and put a bit of pinch pressure around on the back side of him. In the meantime, it's a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a wait as Sexy Cake steadily burns open this double wall. Astro is trying to find the toes of Sexy Cake sprays, but he slips away instantly. And what we saw, as well, talk after this, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, that was through the top, and that's Parlu finding the top of bullets sprayed against on the rotation, and Souls and Cyber instantly take the MO and say, we got to get out of here. There's a minute on, they've wasted plenty of time. They're going to instead fall down and see if they can lock a bit above the site instead, as Cameraman is going to offer that extended support round the bottom of Red, swings. But this is cut off. This is a bit of no man's territory. He's well aware that small bake window is being watched. He can't go too deep. It's going to try and play around the idea of come in, but we've still got vertical, so what are you going to do?
Now, Astro is using the shotgun, the M870. He was already a bit confused when he was speaking with the pistol rather with the MP7, but Soul's now trying to rotate back down as well. They realize literally nothing is coming down from that side, and it's a trade on either side. Cyber will go down, but Cameraman will be taking Paulo onto his tally. They're losing a 3-on-4 situation now. Whilst you see Liquid pushing in, Moringa will be able to pick up a kill. Cameraman misses the first shots. Grenades are flying in, and the plant will go down. 45 seconds soon will be on the clock, unless Cameraman can stop this plant from happening.
Well, they're spraying over the top, but we're in a post-plant situation, and Souls is almost out of it entirely. But Nesk is the one that finds that final nail in the coffin. The spray comes over the back, but Nesk powers through and drops the man instead. Liquid. They clear all they need to find.
This is what I mean, by the way. Sorry. Sorry to
No, jump in.
We were talking about the coaches earlier on, and he's just going by every single member, just, come on, boys, let's go. We're taking that initiative. This is what we're talking about. This can be such a difference maker, knowing that you have someone like that behind you.
When your coach is your biggest fan.
That is when you have a good coach.
Oh, Lou, stop doing these things. Otherwise, the VOD will have to age gate it.
Oh man. But again, very, very strong attack right here coming down from Liquid, I have to say, and just picking up these frags, picking up these advantages. And as now, again, we see a Maverick being swapped out to Hibana. I believe we saw that before. It is going to be reading. That will be the next side, reading and dining. Now we saw quick plays coming down here previously. If you think of a UL, for example, a Amaru up the hatch is not very uncommon. Of course, there is no Amaru right now, but I still like to highlight it. There is the opportunity.
You want it. You're like willing it into, trying to will it into existence. No, this is very common. This extension of mirror over the top here. You hold this as a back line. You offer the security that you would if you're otherwise holding the top on, just in general, if you're trying to hold the site of bar. It gives you that stretch and extension, locking off here as well, because you can have a body that starts inside the mining room and inside the train room. It usually falls back as pressure starts to mount around the top, because with that hatch inside the kind of Christmas room and with the pressure that can come around from Cigar 2, it's dangerous to stay in this exact room. That backline that you set up with the eyes from White means that they can't really extend any further across there without then taking control of pillars in the side corridor. They can't dig themselves in, and even then, it's a firefight. You make these little pockets of no man's land with that hold around the White stairs and force them into a much more uncomfortable take against your back line.
Definitely have the opportunity to, indeed. Nast just standing out there with the hammer, like, what do I sledge next, bots? Need to get out of these hatches, and Liquid allowing themselves to get these drones in quick. They are wanting to make quick work of these attacks, and as they're slowly getting ready, air jabs are being put up, and that means that the flanks will be covered for at least majority of it. And these mirror windows will be a point that they need to deal with, just as well as the shield has been covered off by a couple of these ADSs. How are they going to deal with it? They have these grenades. Do they have any other utility? Yeah, they have flashbangs. They even can use the Nomads if they feel like it. And that is going to be 2. 3 ADSs gone. A grenade will be used. They actually got caught. Maybe they need to toss in another one if they want to get rid of that shield. And they need to do it quickly. They have it. Did he get the shield, however? That's the big question.
Well, Bullet's not going to stick around and find out. Instead, he threads his way. It's gone. There's a Banshee around the corner, which means they can't quite get the hot swing, but look at this. They've cleared themselves a pocket of space, and as I said before, that frees up Nesk to move in. I think there's a body inside kitchen, though. And they're waiting. Yeah, there is, and that could be deadly if it goes unchecked. It's Cameraman with that slow creep, with a C4, if he can get himself into a situation where he might be able to take a little bit out of this approach, make them feel uncomfortable in a space, in a pocket that they believe was. That was how the push came through for them last time. They had that little pocket of space. They found a plant in it. There's the C4.
That's an ADIC!
Oh, Cameraman
just pressed the button!
Cameraman pressed the button.
Oh!
Oh, that would have been the take. It's...
Oh, you can do it again.
Wait, it's a hold, it's a bait, it's a play, it's a moment, and it's only 40 seconds left. That will open, and that is the swing round on the close side. They haven't quite got themselves the big rotation in. It's just the angle as they hop and close pressure on the side of reading, but they still need to dig themselves to the door. And in the meantime, Souls, he's dug himself outside the door. Swings with one as Cyber goes down. Cameraman rotates up around the back of Red, but it's Moringa that's able to get that trade in. The drone spots the body. There's a Claymore, and they're going to take the fight too. Cameraman, with a bit of a drift and a fadeaway, heads back down Red, and a canister gets popped. That puts the diffuser cold. That puts Palu in a tricky situation, but Moringa gets it back up, and with that kill, they've got to quickly get their skates on and get themselves inside the site. He's got to plant it, stick it, and hope. But with PSK getting some cover, there's a stun, there's a man holding on to that F key for as long as he possibly can, and PSK!
No, there was a mirror window as well. He could have just literally peeked the other way around. Oh, these rounds, like there's... Okay. I'm calm, no worries. It's match point for Liquid nonetheless, though. Their attacks managed to stick, but just keep in mind, the diffuser was dropped. It took them up until 7 seconds left on the clock for them to pick it back up. Then they rotate around, they get stuck into a Banshee. You should know where they're coming from in that case, because... well, the diffuser was down in the middle of the hallway. There's only really one place they can go, as you see right now from cameraman. And then the decision gets made. I'm not quite sure. I might be completely wrong though. It might just be that there is some pressure coming down from the white stairs. It doesn't look like it. No, everybody's literally here, and he's down there inside of reading. He could have rotated over to white if they had the information and just get the kill from the mirror window.
I'm curious if the kill on the door of reading gave them the impression that's where the plant was going to go down, because they would have had the call that and this is purely theory crafting, because obviously we're not in the comms with the team.
Of course not. No, look, and I will never say like you made the mistake.
No. You can never say that, because you never really know what intel they're working with. We are sitting here omnipotent and omniscient, and we know everything. And it's those situations where you're like, if this had gone, but it's those situations where you go, there's a reason that the player did this. And my theory that I'm going to put down is that they dropped the diffuser around Pillar. They then suffered the death on the door of reading, so probably assumed the plant would go there rather than fireplace, because there was that active pressure, there was that active sort of push coming from that angle. They'd done the opening work on both sides, to be fair, but fireplace still had that construction on the back side. It still had that mirror window on white, and they were aware that there was still a body presence there. They took I'm going to say it's a gamble, but it's a gamble on information that they thought they had. Again, purely theory crafting.
You know, and maybe that Banshee sound didn't really come through well. Maybe calls are happening at the, you know, it's all these kind of things. I would say go for the mirror window, for example, because if there is someone, you know, you're going to maybe be in a post-plant situation, he would have been able to get it. Just lack of information, of course, because otherwise, if he would have known 100% sure where he was going to be, he would have been on that mirror window. There is no two ways about it.
No, if you're on that mirror window, you're still in the situation of guaranteeing yourself a fight, because it was a 3 versus 1.
Yeah.
They would have had somebody watching that mirror window. You take that risk of, can I click quicker? But you've also got a mirror window to offer you that assistance to know when the peak's going to happen, because you're the one that dictates the pace. You can pop it with a pre-fire and generally be rewarded. The timer was as close as it could have possibly been to trying to stick that diffuser down, and the cover was slightly further away. These things happen. Unfortunately, it's happened to FaZe. They find themselves now suffering on map point for at least 3 more dances if they want to try and push us to OT. They were almost able to start pulling some success back, but obviously since then we've had a bit of a rehost, and now we've had a bit of a tactical timeout. They had a conversation with the coach. They've had this discussion about what they can do and what they can bring next, and now it's seeing if they can actually formulate it into a hold, into a bit of a resurgence on Kafe. This is also FaZe's map, I believe.
Yes, it is. It is FaZe's map that we're currently playing. But, I mean, that doesn't have to mean anything, because basically every single map
it's true.
that people have picked so far this tournament, I believe, have been... Is that the mirror window can open up again? All right. Quick pressure coming down there from Liquid, who are not looking to slow down as I get interrupted in the middle of my statement. Looking to make quick work of it again, and this time, I believe, by making sure they have that top floor control. At least they took care of the mirror window already that the Maestro is playing behind, but I might be wrong again. So just holding off these angles right here, looking to find Bullet. Just trying to spray aggressively, throwing in these flashbangs, making sure they can get rid of that shield. Now the Goyo pops, and Bullet is not going to be able to peek that for at least a little bit. They're opening up into Piano. This shows that they do want to take that top floor control, but 1, 2, 3 Nitros, and Cyber currently has his in hand.
Palu is hoping that that kill drifts into his location. We've seen Liquid be very good in their setup and their pinch. The C4 goes! Cyber with the long arm, and he slips away. They didn't quite catch them on the rotation, but almost got him with the double down on the C4. Potentially massively rewarded. Sexy Cake, well, he survives, scraped and banged and full of splinters and shrapnel from the floor. And with the haunting memory of seeing a friend blow up, there's Palu with that cover. Round on the back, still waiting on White to offer that anvil to the hammer of the push that was supposed to come in across the top. Bullet is locked in on Lumber. And Sexy Cake makes sure he then gets locked out and swings for a double. Souls follows Bullet instantly out the top floor, which falls. 40 seconds left now in a 4 versus 2. 1c4 still in the hands of Astro, and Cyber's on the board, which is still always a massive worry when you're trying to aggress against this team. But with a grenade, with a lot of utility still in the pockets from most of these operators, they have plenty in their arsenal as the push starts to coalesce here down the backside of pillars. Cyber finds one, is able to escape before the second gets that revenge spray as the Goyo shield buys time. There it is. One more for Sexy Cake, but Astro is this last force remaining through the wall. 4 seconds off the plant, and Astro clutches it out for FaZe.
A quad kill coming through, and that means we're not done yet. Stop the music as we are going into the next very round.
That was dramatic.
That was dramatic.
Even production didn't know what was going on.
We aren't done yet. Stop the dramatic music. I didn't going on.
I didn't hear no bell.
It is the clutch that came through. It was a very close one at that. And 4-6 current score. Liquid again with a good attack. The Nitro comes in. Liquid manages to bring it around, but then again, Astro with the clutch factor. Twice now in this matchup. Keeps them into it. Twice now, he wins a round for them. Can he continue that? Can they do it 2 more times?
I mean, 2 more times.
2 more times and you find yourself in overtime, and then suddenly this map that has been so dominant by Liquid is up for debate on who takes it. And that is weird to see.
The hot pings leading to the kill there. Sexy Cake had the right decision. He couldn't have stuck the plant in that situation. They knew how close they were. And to be fair, Astro, well, if Sexy Cake had the right decision, he had many of them in a row. The first kill in the movement to try and lock off the door, knew that they were going to go for that objective because they had no other choice, wanted to push that advantage. In that situation, when there's only a handful of seconds left, you know technically you can force a 1 versus 1 because there's going to be one man planting and the other one is going to be trying to hold the cover.
Exactly.
Had the hot pings and the intel and took it, then played it and moved off to a different space. Didn't go for the second hot ping push because in that situation it's, well, I'll either wait the 2 seconds, he'll have to plant again, or I'll hold this different angle where he's going to get to me in time and I'll have to spray somewhere he doesn't expect it.
I was going to be so critical of FaZe in that round, but they managed to win it, so I'll just keep it to it. But you got a man advantage, and then the man runs out, and then suddenly you lose 2 people on the top floor. It was so unnecessary what happened. Luckily for you guys, you have Astro on your team, because otherwise that would have been a round for Liquid. That would have been a map for Liquid, and you would have been 1 leg out of the tournament already. FaZe, you escaped my wrath this one time. Let's put it up like that. There is still plenty of time for you to receive it, though, so let's make sure you do not give me a reason to. As Liquid want to make their attack stick. They want to make the map of FaZe sticking to their pocket.
Well, 1 of 4 C4s is gone. They went for the early play there, but didn't quite get the rewards that they wanted. They've been very successful, and usually in the worst case, just close to successful. Still doing huge chunks of damage, but look at this, Moringa. He's determined to try and get himself set up and punish them for the early pace and the aggression that they might be trying to put back against them. They've been already shepherded into a very tight corner here. They spent a lot of time clearing the top floors the last time they approached around this sort of play, and they're going to make sure they don't find themselves in the same situation. A messy spray rewards 1 either side as Souls drops out. He's surviving, but on a sliver of health. Moringa has been able to take the top control now, with PSK offering that kind of ledge of support. The C4 gets shot out before it's able to do any damage, but look at FaZe. They're like pulling back and biting every single way.
Ooh, the vertical there almost giving away the game and almost giving away the player. More air jumps are being set up to deny any flank or any push outwards. And as Sexy Cake trying to sneak in, he might be heard here by the Banshee to come through. Souls is on 1 HP. Is he checking the corner? Yes, he will. And somehow gets the kill. Sexy Cake able to live here on 10 HP. And now a minute is left on the clock for Liquid to try and close this out. Another one will fall. Palu will be able to pick one more up, but Astro's still alive. Is he going to be able to make this stick? The Nitro somehow doesn't pick up the kill, but he's still alive. 45 seconds. FaZe 2v4.
they were able to take care of Sexcake there. Oh, cameraman, you can't get away with that, and you don't. Moringa has the cover on the door, leaving just Astro in 40 seconds, now 30, to work with. Freezer hatch was opened, as I said. That not being popped would have been massive in terms of the hold and the defense and the solidity it offers. The grenades roll around and you try and move yourself into a position where they think you might not be. It's another grenade around the backside. They're still playing fishing for Astro. And they find it, and Liquid find that first map in this best of 3.
Very dominant first map from Liquid, you have to say, and FaZe on the back of clutches of Astro some couple of times, able to bring it home, and just look at them instantly huddling together. Quickly discuss, quickly keep this momentum going, stay in this positive mind space now. It's the beautiful hair of Sexy Cakes quickly getting a pat over the head. Liquid, 7-4. Map 1 is underway, map 1 is taken, and up to map 2 we go soon, but first, there's some stuff to talk about.
We'll leave that to the eggheads on the desk as we throw it over to Milos and the boys.
Thanks so much, guys. And unfortunately, Ace isn't here when we're talking about eggheads, but we're going to try to fill in the blanks nonetheless. Demo and X are on here with me on the analyst desk, and my God, Team Liquid are such an effective machine. Even FaZe Clan, with how powerful of a squad they are barely able to put up a resistance against this Liquid squad.
Yeah, I think FaZe not being able to deal with the control that Liquid have. I think if you look at the matchup, Liquid were the most dominant side. They were able to see the round in an image and then be able to paint that picture. And I think FaZe were really relying on clutches, which I think we've seen a lot. And I know that you say that if a team's relying on clutches, they're doing something wrong.
Regularly. I mean, there were clutches aplenty on both sides. Think back to round number 1. Palu got an ace. That cannot go without being mentioned. It was a similar game, honestly, to the game that we saw first today, where Liquid took on Empire. A very similar scoreline here on Kafe. The exact same map. Liquid streaking a nice lead in the first half, 4 rounds to 2. It took them a little bit to get it over the line, but ultimately they were able to pick up those all-important 3 rounds on the opposite side and take away the win. The consistency on the side of FaZe is something that I really want to come back to, because it is something that they desperately struggle with.
Exactly, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, well, Ollie, what about the inconsistency of FaZe? And then he just takes it out there just to talk about it. Yes, what about it then, Demo? What do you think? What can FaZe fix in this bit of time that they have between maps? Because it has been such an obvious problem that we've been pointing out for the past week, even through the group stage. What can they do against the Liquid that is seemingly unstoppable?
FaZe Clan, for me, never look as if they have the same game plan going into games. It's always a different strategy. It's always a different wacky push that they have an idea of. I think Liquid, like you said, consistency. If they're this consistent team that is always doing the same thing, that's very easy to read into. I think FaZe, if they've done their homework and they've been able to prep for Liquid, they should be able to get out there, give some fire to Liquid, upset them. We've seen Liquid, if they do not have the opening kill and times against them, they kind of fall into the same story that NIP has had over the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have that open kill. It's a thing that we've talked about quite regularly in a lot of the games, and it seems strange because we bring it up for every single one, but that opening pick is so important. Liquid very often able to trade out that opening kill. That's the most important thing here. It's not if you get it, it's not if you don't, it's are you able to trade it? Does it get nullified instantly?
And sometimes FaZe Clan might get one, but instantly traded by Team Liquid. Well, when Team Liquid do, FaZe Clan don't look anywhere near to answer for that transgression. Though, let's take a look at our map recap. We got some stats. If you did not take a look at the scoreboard during the game, don't you worry. We'll fill it up and put it on the screen for you. As you see, Team Liquid again in their huddle, readying up for map number 2. It's a 7-4 victory for Team Liquid. Palu showing up, Sexy Cake showing up. That's what you want from this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Big performance there from Palu. Those 5 kills that he got inside of the first round are obviously helping somewhat there in the stats. A big game from Sexy Cake, someone that's flown under the radar a bit in the last couple of games that we've seen from Liquid, currently sitting at one of the lower rated players. Now, we're not looking towards Sexy Cake for the kills. We look to him for the plants. There weren't all too many plants coming out inside of this game, but he was present and correct in the kill department.
Yeah, on side of FaZe, Cyber, the player that we highlighted, stepping up, showing us what he's made of. I think the difference is, Ollie, if we look at Liquid, we have more people up to the mark, whereas FaZe, we have some people who are kind of falling behind. Cameraman there as well. I mean, he had a very rough game yesterday also, which I don't know how much that has helped his confidence. I don't know if his mental is a little bit skewed off because of that, but it hasn't kind of been papered over. It's still the same crack showing for Cameraman again.
All right, let's take a look at our map bans again, just to refresh everybody's memories. You've seen map 1 go the way of Team Liquid. Kafe Dostoyevsky 7-4 for them. Chalet is up next, and there seems to be no team as prepared on Chalet in Latin America as much as Team Liquid. You can kind of apply this to MIBR as well, but these are kind of two of the few squads, even in the world, that feel comfortable on our newest map in the competitive pool, only added a few months ago at the start of the 2021 competitive season. Liquid going into this, Ollie, what are their advantages for Chalet?
I mean, the advantage at the minute is that they've got the momentum, and that isn't just inside of this fixture. They've got momentum that's carrying them through from previous days now as well. Liquid are making a run through the lower bracket. So are FaZe, admittedly. But Liquid have come in off the back of a couple of really nice 2-0s. They've got that momentum. They've got everything on their side. If they continue to perform in this fashion, we've seen them play Chalet before, Demo, and it's scary.
Yeah, I think back to their match against Furia inside the group stages. They tore Furia limb from limb. That little team from Brazil had no chance against the big dogs off Liquid. FaZe, how are they going to fare on Chalet? It's very difficult to not favor Liquid just because of past performances. But then again, if FaZe want to continue with this incredible playstyle where anything can just happen for them, they just pick up these strategies on the go. Their operator pool is so deep. It's there for FaZe, it definitely is. And especially for FaZe, whenever they're on the back foot, whenever they're behind, they look better.
Team Liquid, in terms of the history of the organization, have come back from many lower bracket, well, losses from upper to lower bracket, then wins the grand final. We've seen Liquid, for example, Dota, etc. They have competed. They've done the same. They've gone through miracle runs and gone to grand finals, eventually winning as well. Something this squad here is attempting to replicate this time in Rainbow Six. Now, on Chalet, I'm told that FaZe Clan is starting off on the attack. And I know Chalet has a controversial bomb site down in Snowmobile. A lot of people kind of thinking, you know what, maybe the meta is shifting one way or another for Chalet. Of course, 3 months is not enough to really paint a solid picture on a new map in the competitive pool. But what can FaZe do on this stacking side to push themselves over the hurdle?
So the first time that I saw Chalet played, or the first time, sorry, that I saw Chalet, FaZe were playing it, and they were playing against Team 1. It went round for round, back and forward. There was no clear advantage. Now, albeit this was a little bit earlier on, Chalet was still very fresh. It was among the first times that we were seeing it be played at this sort of a level. These two teams now know what to expect. There it is once again, the huddle, we live for it. These two teams now know exactly what to expect going up against each other here. An advantage on a starting side, perhaps, but momentum's going to play a bigger role than that, and I just don't see FaZe with that level of consistency.
Demo, operators, what is there to look at? TSM on Chalet have shown us many ways to play the map. What can be applied in this game between these two squads?
I think maybe your Echo could be a very strong ban. I've seen a lot of success with that operator, being able to actually use the information of Echo to assist roamers. If FaZe want to go for that aggressive playstyle again, they can bring that Echo in. That could do wonders for them. Liquid might be a ban. I think Valkyrie is always going to be in the cards. I'd be surprised if Valkyrie gets left open with the information you can gain in that lobby. A lot of different areas for the cameras, along with the C4 destructibility that Chalet has. That could be a recipe for disaster.
Goyo, Frost.
He loves this Goyo ban, does he? He wants this Goyo ban.
I love Goyo, and I love Frost in general. In general, on every map.
Nesk likes the Frost in this map.
Frost right now is just in such a good spot with her ITA secondary, but there's so many windows and unexpected situations on Chalet. It would be beautiful to see.
I mean, it's not quite a must bring, but it's certainly up there, isn't it? It's in the upper echelon of operators that you'd like to see if you have the space. Loads of windows, get those Frost mats out there.
What mats?
You were.
Milosh, tell him.
Mats.
There it is.
That's what we're doing. At least there is still a bit of youth within me. I know. I'm getting old at this point, and maybe you should follow suit here. How do you do, fellow kids? XR Troika Demo, thank you so much for filling us in on this game. Map 1 and Map 2. Chalet, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen it so many times, but nobody is done with a map that was introduced only a few months ago in the esports competitive pool. Can FaZe Clan survive here in the lower bracket? Can Team Liquid fight their way to the lower bracket grand final? We're going to have to see on Chalet. It's FaZe Clan, it's Team Liquid, and it's Haben Fluke to take us through it. All yours.
Thank you, Milos, for the throw. And yes, we are getting underway. Map 2. This could be the end here for FaZe, but it could also be the start of a comeback, the start of a potential 2-1 victory if they manage to take the map here on Chalet. It is an aggressive one, but that might suit them well. So we're going to wait and see which of these it will be.
It's closer and closer.
It is close.
It's all the way till the end, and it's kind of what we wanted and what we expected. Obviously, we're now going into what is technically Liquid's map. But as we found out in this tournament, I'd love to see the stat at the end of just how many times it's been someone's map.
CGG!
But it hasn't been their map, because I swear the rarity at this point is people have been able to lock out their own decision, their own place that they wanted to take us all to.
I'm still wondering why that is. It is. For example, it's weird.
Because it's the tournament of unpredictability.
Well, yes, but it's not just been this tournament. It's been in a lot of Siege tournaments where opposing map picks get taken away. That might have to do with the map. Oh, okay.
That's a big ratio.
I always said to you, I don't know how I put up so many steps every day, but in the meantime, I'm like literally walking,
pacing around
whilst I'm casting, and then I came back around and I saw the 82%. I'm like, oh, okay. It's not looking good for FaZe, but luckily the community polls do not give you any advantages into this matchup. And you have to do it with the 5 people that are playing right now in the server, the coach behind you, and all the power from the fans at home. I mean, you're competing against Jenna. It might be difficult, but there's definitely ways to catch up for FaZe here, as they will need it in Chalet. Liquid absolutely dominating throughout Kafe, and you know, you might not think of that when you saw the scoreline to be 6-4, 7-4. You might be that, you know, that's quite close. Hap. What do you mean dominating?
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Well, I mean, if 2 clutches are the reason of you being able to pick up 2 of these rounds, that is not looking really good. So FaZe will have to make sure that they step it up now. FaZe will have to make sure that they're in that server. More people need to play like Cyber was playing, for example, like Astor was playing. Then they're going to be able to put up the fight here to Liquid, who are doing so incredibly well.
I think it's one of those situations from comparison, or one of those main comparisons, is if you're trying to work out how that previous map was going, you look towards the statistics around the plant, you look towards how often the teams were able to sort of knock on the door of the objective, and Liquid, when they were on their attacks, had much more consistency, much more solidity in actually getting that towards the floor, and actually getting that almost off or off. In the case where FaZe, sure, they were able to get boots on site a couple of times, but it was never in a situation to either get the plant down or get themselves sort of locked in. Here, though, as we said, Milos was happy. Frost is on the board. Malusi swapped from the mirror. 2 very different baits and plays there of attention, of the limitation of swings and the pace that we've seen FaZe love to apply.
Jan also being brought out here. It's an interesting one. Okay, we're going bar stock. So what we're going to see now is the shield that will be put up at the top of the library stairs. You see right there being put down. Probably we're going to see one more shield at the middle of the pillar that will be aimed towards the hallway. If the probably P Skater will put it down there if he feels like it. First reinforcements on box though. So you're looking at this setup now, and what you basically want to achieve is that they will peek you from the double door. Now, if they do that, you have the shield on the top of the library staircase that will be allowing you to take these gunfights. Then you ask, why do you open up these ankle holes towards the site? Well, that is probably so you can try and deny it from the top of fireplace. So you can try and shoot in if they're trying to take some control of box. So a very heavy hold or a very couple of pieces of utility will be placed towards the fact that they expect FaZe to attack from the from the master bedroom side. I forgot the other name. What's it called? Okay.
Solarium.
Solarium, there we go. Yes, exactly. That's what I meant.
I get why it's a long sciencey word about stuff in the sky, but for now they're not paying any heed towards it. Bullet, in fact, goes the opposite, goes deep, goes low. Droned underneath and drones himself for a stage there, as Yana is the one hopping up on the top towards that piano room. Can't quite play the music of where is people as they actually pull themselves away. The grenade goes around the back, but they are long since departed. It was a fleeting idea. You know, when you're up against a FaZe attack, as soon as they get a bite of information, your chance of becoming on the hook is so much higher. You cannot hang around, because as soon as that is bitten, that line will get pulled and they'll find themselves very quickly feasting upon you. So it's this steady clear, this cleanse of a space that they've already shepherded players out, because FaZe realized, yeah, we can't stay here very long.
Can't stay here very long indeed. As trying to take some control. So they have the box right now, but they realize that they do need to open up, so Selmas will be used. Hoping to put up the pressure, and as I said, indeed, that's the frost, the shield I was talking about. And this is the second shield I was talking about right here. So now you create a crossfire into that hallway, which will make it really tough for the attackers to try and move through. And as I say that, Sexy Cake does get down. I'm not quite sure from where, but he's going to be able to rotate and all the way crawl back towards the side and potentially be picked up by the player that is in Pantry.
I think that might have been from K9 down towards the door of the bar. They sprayed through and potentially got the body, but in the meantime, it's still this steady kind of collection of bodies inside as Bullet locks it off for a double and finds himself sat by a jukebox. The music that's playing is just the sweet sound of people dying as Astro gets one more, saves the life, oh no, does not. Shot the frost mat, which killed the player, and Palu in the meantime is left in a big clutch situation. He's finding himself slightly isolated. He's pushed off the site. The plant is being stuck down inside, and Astro finds himself doing the drive and the run, and now doing that last bit of precious utility. It's one more for Astro to lock off the round.
There it is. One of them is coming in. One of them is going to be able to pick up that round, and now FaZe in the lead. It's been a while since they've been there in this matchup. You're going to have to try and build onto this. Try and build onto that momentum. At least we're seeing more happy faces than we saw before. And now, it is going to be the question. Oh, look at that. Just at the moment they went for the pickup, he was able to pick up both. Just free there. What a beautiful flick from Astro. You're looking at it again, he just decides to execute his teammate.
He shot the Frostmat, didn't he?
Well, I mean, the Frostmat was already in there, so there was no need to shoot. He shot the head.
Oh, did he shoot the head?
Yeah.
Just put him down.
Just put him down. He's like, you stepped in the Frostmat. No need to get back up.
No love here. Wow. At 2 bullets.
Tough love.
Okay. A good early opener there. It was sudden, and I think is the main word for it. As I said at the beginning, if FaZe sense an opportunity, they're not scared to take it.
Definitely not.
They often are led by Cyber, but the positioning there of Bullet to be able to dig himself into the site, took the double. I don't know if they'd got Sexy Cake just after he'd been got back up, or during the recollection of the down Sexy Cake. Either way, it's still great kind of initiative and great aggression to push that so aggressively and find those 2 kills, and you find yourself on site. Suddenly, that call goes out, it's 2 dead. Uh-oh. And we've got to rebuild, we've got to reconvene and recollect ourselves. We've got to try and hold on to the scraps, because like a Jenga tower, all of it has just been swiped out from underneath you.
Okay, so the mirror window, I get it, right? It's there to stop a potential plant from happening, but it's very vulnerable from that main window. So if FaZe realize what's going on here, they are going to be putting someone up on that window so that mirror window becomes unplayable. That is something to pay attention to. But for now, though, it seems like they will be entering from the bar side and from the library side, and this cameraman will be using the Gemini replicator to try and find some information. It's Nesk that will be disabling it, but with that giving away his position. And as you can see, FaZe is trying to surround him right here to try and make sure that they are going to be able to take him out as, well, grenades are on the board, able to be used. Sexy Cake is here to try and help, but it is going to be the first kill to come through. Oh, it's going to be the second as well. Sexy Cake takes that Astro. Nesk will drop, and so will he.
Nesk
3 on 5.
Being able to get out of that situation is unbelievable. FaZe so quickly tried to coalesce, but that backbone, that hold on the pillar, that mantle of Sexy Cake saves Nesk's cover. He's able to get the body as the swing came around, perfectly timed, avoided the grenade that went to try and push him off of that exact take, but braved the nade for the success of saving a friend and slipping away. Back down, can now find another place to cause problems in a 5 versus 3. You've taken out that hard destruction, making Maverick have a lot more work left to do. You've also obviously taken out Bullet, who was that drive in the previous round. That body that was able to just take up that mantle inside the site, take that early engagement. Cyber might not know how close he is. That audio, the rappel, I was kind of half waiting for a Liquid player to react from inside. Trophy there, but nothing as of yet.
Still going to be the opportunity, of course, especially as soon as the big window is being put under pressure. Again, the Gemini will be entering throughout the same window we have seen before. And as I say, there it is. The pressure is coming down. Grenades are going to be tossed in. Question is if it will find something. Oh, just about 5 HP of Moringa. Second one will be tossed in by a different member. Won't be able to find anything. Nesk, however, will get the kill. 2 on 5. FaZe are crumbling in this attack.
Yeah, suffering on any of these window approaches here. They dug in deep for the early, lost it, and now it's just trying to find something to put these bloodied pieces together to make some sort of a picture. Unfortunately, it's not a very nice one right now. Palu, that does finally lock it off. The Yitter isn't a great gun for that sort of confrontation, but I know what sure is. That 9mm in the hands of anybody, but especially in the hands of Nesk. One more on Solarium windows for his tally for the round, from a fight on one entry point to the ending fight on the other. He was tough to pin down.
He was tough to pin down, and Liquid able to get these opening kills. And it all started off with the pressure they tried to put down into Library from 2 different angles, and while Nesk able to pick up the first kill, Sexy Cake able to provide the cover, and then suddenly you find yourselves on a 3 on 5, make that 2 on 5 situation. And you just keep on snowballing from there till the end of the round, till you have that flawless. Took a couple of shots from the ITS 12 there, as you see again, but
I mean,
eventually got it, you know, it's the important part.
You could be like 5 feet away and it'd probably still take the same amount of shots from the ITS.
Yes, you could be.
It's not a solid.
Sometimes we do see people like clutch with it, like a double kill, and that makes it really, you know, what? How
have they done that?
Shotgun? How have you done that?
No, that gun. You know how what they say with the SAS shotgun is it's as good as your belief in that gun.
Yeah,
I think it
that's
doesn't
like
matter how much.
10.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't matter how much you believe in the ITA. It never. It never lives up to the expectation you want it to. If someone is like 1-2 feet in front of you, great.
I think it's literally better to just throw a bag of beans at someone.
You could throw the gun at them. If that was an option, I think that would be A, used for a lot of BM kills, but B, it would be amazing. It would be the kind of top end of that sort of moment. We're having a very quick rehost now. It's a moment for the teams to talk. 1 round apiece. But 2 very different takes, 2 very dictated takes as well. FaZe entirely dictated the pace of the first round by just taking out Liquid's defense. They pushed the core and suddenly ripped it from the heart out as if it was like Indiana Jones, and showed it to them before dropping the rest and planting the diffuser. Then the second time round, well, it wasn't that they went to see the film, it was that they weren't allowed in the building. Locked out in the library, couldn't even read a book.
Wasn't even allowed to like grab a book, like let alone read it.
Yeah.
Taken out before they even got through the door, and FaZe 1-1. Oh, they're trying to bottle flips now in Liquid. Oh, no. Second attempt will fail. Sexy Cake, come on, you can do it. Calm down. Okay, now he's going to drink.
He's going to drink.
He's going to try and get a little bit more out. Maybe it makes it a bit easier for him. I'm not sure. Who knows? What we do know...
I wouldn't do it with one of the metal ones.
No.
I feel like that would not end well.
I mean, it's the same. It's just a shame if they get damaged because they're branded with your own name on it, you know?
The thing is, if they were able to successfully pull off that bottle flip, I love that all of this, all of these cameras, all of these lights, all of this production setup, which is amazing, would then have this replay. And I know for a fact that they would slow it down and find alternate angles and put it in the replay package of the bottle flip moment. Unfortunately, it didn't
fail
pop
twice, unfortunately.
2 failures. Maybe we can put those, give those to our social managers, put them in slow motion, play some sad music behind it. All right, 1-1. Quick technical. Pause, quick technical moment. We've seen pace, as I said before this, from both teams. They've hit the ground running, whether it's the ground that they're supposed to be holding or taking. What I like, the adaptation there from Liquid was to sort of keep the lockdown. And it's always tougher when you're in this map. We've already talked about this before. We've been on Chalet a couple of times, in that it's a giant L shape. You sort of extend round the corner as we had from there. The site was obviously split off elsewhere, but you start the fight around the library. You start the fight on the opposite ends, and they didn't fall back like they did in the first round. The first round, they were holding the opposite side, the bedroom and the piano kind of corner.
Yep.
And as soon as the pressure mounted, they pulled back. It's a dangerous game with FaZe, because FaZe, as we saw, are very quick to act when they have an idea of where you are.
They are.
But them sticking in, them having a little bit more support there showed the success, because they were able to punish that eagerness to punish.
Well, let's see whether or not Liquid is going to be able to punish FaZe again. So we're going to Kitchen Trophy, or Kitchen... Oh, it's actually called Kitchen Dining now.
Yeah.
So much has changed. Back in my day, you used to be able to play in Trophy. It's now no longer a bomb site.
Back in my day, there was a window on that
And a door
staircase.
in West Main.
Yep. I remember those windows being open. Remember how
Fun.
how chaotic that was.
Remember Amaru just suddenly rippling in, like you could rappel on that window, right? So it would be a very far angle. So and then suddenly Amaru was introduced, and out of nowhere people started being like, hey,
We can do this.
that window is now a thing. Either way, we're underway again. It is round number 3. It is 3 minutes left on the action phase, and Liquid are on the defense. That is what we're currently at. FaZe will need to try and find 2, maybe 3 rounds on their half on the attack to set themselves up well. And as the first Selma is being deployed, it is being mute gemmed, making sure that it will not explode the wall, and that will make sure that the Solarium stairs are going to be allowed to be played by Liquid.
They tried to outpace the defense setup there. They tried to get that open before they could get the setup and get everything in place, but that mute jam was early. Now it's not. Now it's gone. Now there's a bit more burn of utility, but they still get open a very precious angle. No, they do not. Drop Moringa with the eagle eyes. Had the watch, heard the Selma, and it's covered by the smoke the second time round. Does he get it? He's gambling. He's guessing.
No.
Ooh, no.
He doesn't have it.
I thought we were going to find out in just a second. We find out a little bit earlier as the shrapnel pulls through, and he pulls himself a little bit closer to the wire, hoping they take that initiative, but Bullet, he takes a spray and then drops out of there. Cyber is going to wait as the rest of the pressure starts to coalesce. They got open the wall with a lot of ferocity, and now it's time to find a new place to shave and shape their talons and dig them into the Liquid defense.
Now you might be thinking, why would they open up that wall? They're not directly pushing for it. Well, exactly as you can see, there's a member down on Solarium trying to take control. You have Cyber right here that can now cut down the rotation if any pressure seems to be coming down, and that shows you that they want to go for a top-down approach. And as Souls now does take that control, there is the opportunity to move down. And now suddenly you have an angle all the way into Dining right here as Bullet is trying to catch close. Oh, he doesn't spot the lag, does he? He might be spotted before he sees it. No, he will get the kill eventually.
Only just, but look at this flood of blue all the way across the site. There's bodies on the second story above the kitchen too. It's down to PSK to try and buy some time for the remaining Liquid players to flood their way back in, but dropped all the way from deep round as he's able to actually get aggressive, but no further. Cut off on either side. Sexy Cake sees one, might not know the second has slipped his way up, has no idea as of yet, and this is a pick that's free. And FaZe, well, I said every round was a pace, but that was a pace unto their own.
A very good idea of what they wanted to do there. Tossed in that Selma. Had to take care of the mute jammer, so they did, and then handed in the second Selma, made sure that the wall would open up, and from there on took top floor control, worked their way down, got someone very close up on the reinforced wall, and well, what can you do in that case? What can you do as Liquid when they're all over you already and they're winning their gunfights? I have the answer for you.
Oh yeah.
It's going to a different site. And Bar Gaming will be that site. As we have a beautiful shot there coming through the balcony. Over out onto the stage.
Though, Bar Gaming was a quick take before as well. Bar Gaming was where we saw them drive themselves in. They obviously got the drop and then found the double as they actually pushed themselves all the way into the site itself. It was very quick in terms of the take from FaZe finding themselves inside. Now, I guess, is our moment to see if Liquid have woken up to that a little bit. They've just suffered another quick take, but it was on a different place. We're going back to a site where they suffered it before. As I said, I liked when they started to battle back previously, but here it's down to FaZe to, I guess, step up that ante, keep up the momentum that they've just been able to build from that previous round, and for the first time in this showdown, tie 2 rounds together on this map.
Be a nice start for them.
5 seconds left.
They do need to win this map if they want to stay in the tournament. They do need to win this map if they want to push it over to our third map, Coastline. If they fail to do so, Liquid will proceed in the lower bracket, where they will be facing TSM to fight for a top 3 spot. Of course, FaZe wants that as well. FaZe wants to have that spot, and that's what we'll be fighting for. Either way, we have a different side and Bullet.
Oh.
Starts off with the exact same passion, with the exact same speed. It's Palu to go down, and well, Palu, who has been real impactful over the last couple of maps, last couple of games, not really been able to get into it yet. At least not after Riost. And this will give FaZe a really good opportunity to try and build on this, as they do take out one of these star players on Liquid, but then you're talking about it like that, and you're like, who's not a star player on Liquid?
I mean, yeah, and generally in that team, in that roster, and to be fair, a lot of players inside this entire game have that star status well and truly placed upon their name. The drone, it gives a bit of an idea, it repositions, but you can't get that without swinging into a very dangerous location. It goes even deeper. Wants to sort of lead Nesk round to a spray on that piano window, but they can't quite get the angles. They're not going to risk it as of yet, as Cyber starts to clear his way around. Pops close, but nobody is currently home. No bits of utility left in this corner, in this aggressive swing that we've talked about before. This back line, though, it's the split corner around the top of this staircase to offer some of that mantle from support, so the pressure has to start coming from the backside of it. Souls long-arming some grenades, drops the shield, and Astro and Souls drop one apiece, and yet again it's another flood all over blue, but it's Liquid that are the ones being washed away by FaZe.
Beautifully picked up by FaZe, really showing up right now. Talked about the dominance of Liquid throughout the previous match, and well, FaZe is starting to apply it themselves. I'm not going to say they're quite there yet, because we're only in the first half. And if Liquid manage to pick up 1, maybe even 2 more rounds, then it's still in anyone's game. But they're well on the way of returning the favor to Liquid. Of returning the favor of winning a map, but you know, where you are pretty dominant, not really giving them an opportunity to set themselves up properly. Because they just keep on finding these angles, they just keep on outplaying whatever is being set up or brought. And then you see the passion, you see how much it means to them. Rile up towards your opponent as well. Be like, what now? What now?
Step it up.
Step it up, it's your turn.
This is your map. This was your lovely retreat into the ski chalet.
Yes.
And yet here we are, just taking it over round after round. And you know, that quick early drop against Palu, it's hold the sprint key, hit the building, is what we're seeing from FaZe. Their information game throughout this whole tournament has been exceptional. They've consistently just had that curiosity about the map and that knowledge of where everybody intends to be and why they intend to be there. They've been able to secure so much before their approach. And it shows here so blatantly, it shows so quickly the danger that they pose almost instantly, whether it's against your setup and whether it's against of the bottom of the stairs or whether it's against your players themselves. FaZe are done messing around.
Keep in mind, Team Liquid's map. FaZe have the starting side choice. They started and chose to start on the attack. I'm not sure what that means for that defense, but as long as they're going to be able to pick up 1 more round, they should be good, theoretically speaking. So let's see if that indeed will be the case. Let's see if they're going to be able to pick up 1 more, or if Liquid is going to be able to fight back now and show that it is still here and no further. They do get that top floor again to play with. Now, I'm not going to say that it was the setup that won them the round the other time they were here. It was basically Nesk and was it playing on the Frost? That was Nesk. Never mind.
Nesk was on the Frost. Sexy Cake.
Oh, that was it. Yes. So those two able to pick up these skills early on in Library, bringing the fight to FaZe, is when they most hurt them. When they were waiting for the fight to be brought to them, that is when FaZe was completely outgunning them and outrunning them. So you got to make sure that you might bring that fight to them under certain circumstances. Of course, you do not want to throw these bodies out of the windows every now and then, you know, without a good reason. So you gotta pay attention, as The members of FaZe have neared the building, are now close up to the walls and close up to the windows and doors. Looking to find a proper time, a proper space to go for the entry. And 3, 4, maybe even 5 different windows or doorways.
Okay, FaZe, yet again. You have your opener within the opening minute, and you have it without punishment. Something Liquid has otherwise really not let slide against a lot of other teams. You keep finding that single player that you can remove from the equation without anyone who really else having the maths as of yet. Bullet blows up underneath, regardless of the long firefight that's being open. Nesk suffers from range. He's still baiting on that main staircase around the back of Fireplace. He still has some support structure he can fall back to, but with the pressure that's starting to come against the Solarium side, he cannot hang on the opposite side too much longer. So reconvenes and recollects himself inside the library with a good book, How to Stop FaZe.
3 people coming in from the Solarium side. Drones are entering, and that means that the bathroom will soon fall. There you have it. Bullet taking that control and trying to push on. Gets spotted out by the mirror, however. Palu not deciding to take that gunfight, has a shield to play with, and will be deciding to use it to his advantage. Zastro just holding. Souls is repelled up, has the opportunity to try and contest that window to make sure no one can enter. And this is the mirror window we're talking about. That's what they needed to take care of, and Souls will do so with the grenade. Nesk, however, will find a kill. The Nitro is not going to be going all the way through, and the plant will go down in the meantime. They need to enter now. They need to get a reply in. It's not happening yet, though. It's only up to Sexy Cake.
Well, a misthrown bit of utility and a push with the attempt there, and it leaves just one body left. They drop one. They can't get the second. FaZe Clan find their 4th on their attack, and are looking so good at taking just the space that they need.
Looking good, looking like professionals here. It's like this is the only thing they practice at. Every single time. They just get that early entry, and suddenly they're all over you. They're all over the building. They manage to get a control they need to go for the side execute. And at the moment, the mirror window is coming into play to try and challenge the potential entry. Oh, just look at that jumping as well right there. What can you do? That grenade is what I'm talking about. The mirror window is in danger from that big window. Exactly shown why there. Of course, the Nitro not going over didn't really help, but allowed Bullet to go for a double kill himself. As soon as this plant came down in a 1-on-3 situation, that was only ever going to go one way.
I mean, oftentimes you see that sort of extension and play played with a castle. You have a bit more solidity inside the hold itself. You give that mirror a bit of breathing room and a bit of precious space. Because as you said, as soon as it becomes known, it becomes exploitable and it becomes very dangerous.
Yeah.
And you're against a team that has perfected the art of exploiting weaknesses and finding them and reacting to them and responding to them very quickly. You can play Aruni gates, laser gates. You can play ways to sort of eat utility, but when it comes down to it, they're going to laser focus that player and they're going to remove that mirror window. And whether you're stood there or not, it's just a matter of how much time you can buy, I think, in that exchange.
It is indeed. And now Liquid gonna have to try and find themselves a second round in this matchup. At least salvage a little bit of this round, of this half, because it hasn't been the best half for them yet. FaZe has been able to completely outrun them and overrun them every single time, and it looks like it might be happening again. Bullet quickly taking care of so much of that utility there with those S charges. Now gets a drone in close as well, and as the rest of FaZe is entering from that top floor, they know that there is one man near the library they need to deal with, and there's grenades are trying to be tossed in right there. The pressure on PSK is on. And then Nesk is also going to be there. That's the grenade on PSK. That's him gone. Nesk is now the one they need to deal with on those stairs.
Every single round is bleeding into each other at this point. They are threading attack into attack into attack, and they are not letting Liquid have any room for anything on all of their holds here. It's just this consistent levy and bout of pressure that is all-encompassing, like a smog that floods over this entire building and blurs whatever Liquid tried to do. Palu finds some clarity and shoots a bit of space there with the shield offering the top on the top of the stairs. It's Nesk that goes down there as cameraman puts that man advantage back into their favor. Moringa has some angles and holes, but the drones are going to steadily bury their way back to the back of the bar stock. It's just a matter of who can catch who first. The C4, he wants to play this game first with an idea. He's not just going to risk throwing that utility, which could be so precious, and waste it until he gets a better idea. But it's a really good shot that takes it from a better idea to a perfect one. The body balance falls into their favor again. More canisters are popped. More time is bought, this time from the defender's sake, as steadily FaZe find themselves in a new situation. Malusi gets a freebie. Didn't know that the man was close there on that little hop-in box window, and with the drone giving the game away, hey, I'm right there, he said. Hey, same.
Souls just holding. Suddenly FaZe are finding themselves on a man disadvantage right here and are trying to make it come back. And as the plants will go down, the cover will be there from Astro as well as giving away the game, however, so they know exactly where it's going to be happening, but the plants will go down nonetheless. There's the trade, however. Astro, the last man standing from above, has the vertical, manages to pick up one. Is he going to be able to pick up more? The manpower of Liquid is already trying to go for the flank. It's Palu to try and flank around. It's Sexy Cake to now join the fray. Are they going to be able to find him right here? He's dug in deep in the corner. They need to swing together. The corner is not checked, but Palu will get it. It's a quad kill, and he will be way in time to try and get the defuser from going off. And Liquid find an extra round.
By the skin of their teeth.
By the skin of their teeth.
Gotta give credit to FaZe for being able to stick the diffuser in that situation. The first C4 didn't quite connect. Talked about that resource being a precious bit of utility. It was saved until the end. And the second was able to lock off the kill that they needed. Started with an explosion and almost ended with 1-2. But still, that little pocket of space, that dedication to, well, we have it, let's try and make it work, comes through to a degree. It was these little moments, these little picks, these little bits of revenge and response that got them that close kill. Just popped around the corner, Palu, gave him a little gift. Astro getting the first here. It was very big, great game sense to know that they'll be coming up. Maybe didn't expect both of them. Maybe thought one might try and stick it, but expected the other at least either way and wanted to take that fight first. A great decision from Liquid in the grand scheme of things. Now they've got to see if they can thread a few more of those together if they want to keep this showdown at only 2 maps.
That's it. If they want to keep it till here and if they do not want to extend this to Coastline, they have the opportunity now. They bought themselves an extra room for error. Realistically, an extra round. And a 4-2, it might sound like a big deal, it might sound like a big gap in between rounds, but if then suddenly the first one goes your way, it's a 4-3. If then the second goes your way as well, you're all equaled up again and it's 4-4, and the defense will be yet to find a side that works out for them. So Liquid, if they start off their second half strong, if they started off with a win, with a victory in this round, they could be locking it off with 2 maps here. Even though that FaZe was being so dominant throughout the first half, their attacks were impeccable almost. With the exception of the last.
All right, FaZe, you set the pace so well on your attacks. Can you do the same on your defenses? You opted to start on your attacks. It was where you felt you might be able to do some damage and distance, and to be fair, you very much did. It gives you that momentum, that groundswell to build behind, and now it's the sprays. You pull yourself back. Damage done to each other. Maybe didn't quite expect that so early. Palu has raised tensions as he waited almost for somebody else to hop out, expecting to double down on the bait and the push, but nobody played that game as of yet. I love this Echo drone.
I love Souls just going over his moustache while he's on the Echo drone.
I mean, what else?
What else can you do in that case? Indeed, he's just getting a bit of information right here, and it is difficult to deal with. They will, however, find it. Wasting a little bit of time, however, and now Sexy Cake able to start opening up into this wall. It's going to be very key. The smoke canister will slow him down, however. But with 1 minute 40 on the clock, surely that wall will open up sooner rather than later. And if they manage to try and take out as many smoke canisters as they possibly can in the process, it's only going to be helpful for their take.
Well, one more. He is just buying time right now on this approach, but there's still a lot of time left to work with, making sure that, I guess, the rest of the players can stack themselves up. There it is. Sexy Cake, you gotta wait, but Cyber, well, you gotta wait too. They waited and baited over the top there with the grenade being able to at least down him, puts him in a tricky situation, but they won't want to swing K9 because they don't fully trust. They don't know, obviously, that they're able to get that body down consistently now. Sexy Cake will be able to finish that box wall, get that open, and get themselves the angle if they want to have their method of approach. As you can see here, the plant spot underneath is opened. Gives you a bit of danger, and there's that body that's underneath that's going to cause that and prove that. So Nesk, make sure they do not have an easy time. They might try and impact over the top, but Sexy Cake drops the body. Even higher than that, another grenade kill, and he's really stepped in. From the early games of Maverick in this tournament, he was making a couple of mistakes. Didn't quite warm up, but you cannot argue that he's definitely found some heat in that torch since.
Nesk needs to stay alive here. Nesk needs to challenge the player that is playing close to the dining table, because that would allow a plant to happen. Is it going to be able to pick that one up? No. That means they cannot plant for now. They need to find the yokai drone. They need to find a safe space. Why are you planting next to the vertical right there? That's a kill from Cameraman. 15 seconds left. 2-on-3 situation. There is one man still above. You need to find a safe space, and well, it has been found, but Souls has the opportunity. No, he will go down. It's only up to Cameraman now. A 1-on-3 retake. 40 seconds on the clock, and you need 7 to defuse.
Wow, well played in the end, but it was a little bit scrappy from Liquid as they tried to stick that diffuser down. All the work was done beforehand. Cameraman has all the work left to do in front of him. Has the first fight and gives a bit of the game away. There's one close on the left in the little connector room, and they're the one that gets it. Parlu dug deep and digs one more round into Liquid's camp, brings the difference down to just 1.
That's what I said. A 4-2 might seem big, but win your first round, it's only going to be a 1-round lead that you have. Win the second and you're all the way up, equalized again. That is what they're currently facing. Liquid have the opportunity to bring it back here. There's a reason why FaZe chose to start off on the attack now. Whether that is to try and get the difficult side out of the way, or if that was due to the fact that they might not feel comfortable enough to start off on their defense, we are yet to find out. But it was a good attack from Liquid to come in, able to isolate these players one by one. Maybe a little bit of a mistake of planting over the open railing with a player below after he just took down Nesk. You managed to stick it nonetheless. A 1v3. Won by Liquid.
Okay, an adaptation and a change. They're not going to try and double down inside bedroom on this opener. Instead, kitchen becomes the extension in the rotation. Keep the sights hot and keep the game momentum feeling like it's in your favor, your hands, as it was so fervently during your opening attacking rounds now, though. It is a similar sort of setup. You extend above, you give yourself some mantle to play with here to lock off this attempt at an extension, whether they try and keep the verticality or ignore it entirely. I mean, okay, it wasn't entirely ignored it. They left the body down there, but they lost the 1 versus 1, so it freed it up for them. Put them in a bit of a tricky space and scenario. It's a little bit more dependent on getting that vertical control over the bedroom. This site, it usually starts with a bit of a push, potentially on Solarium, if not on reading, if not on the opposite side itself. But in the meantime, PSK is actually going to go prep for a run out on red.
Make sure that Claymore is down there. It's only to put some pressure up, of course, from a big window afterwards. Making sure that no one from Trench would be able to make it stick. And as he is repelled up on K9, will be opening up all the way deep. And Cyber is having that C4 ready to be tossed in if the repel would be to occur. Not the case, however, and as Liquid tries to find themselves a sneaky angle, it will be Sexy Cake to find himself close. But you have to be careful, because that Nitro that we just saw might be able to fly through that window. As it there goes in, no! It's not going to be able to go in. Not going to be able to even deal a single point of damage, and that allows Sexy Cake to now start opening up. Make sure that they have an opening up into that box, have an entry inside that box. And as the shotgun is being pulled out, it's Cyber that desperately tries to find something to maybe hold on to box and on the top floor. The question is, can they? Or will Liquid outplay them here?
They've still set themselves up in case any of this FaZe danger starts to expand upon. K9 potentially on the swing, on the piano window too. It's Parlu that's going to dig deep, doesn't get the shield. Oh, does, just on the split of it there as it falls down from a funny angle, and that frees him up to make some movement. In the meantime, Sexy Cake's opening up a tighter angle so they can swing around and put pressure on that body behind the back of K9. They're looking and hoping that he slips by, has the ability to slip through himself, and obviously still has 2 grenades. There will be ADSs to burn. There will be pressure that needs to be applied there before they can make the damage, but see the floor popping. It's becoming dangerous. There's the hop out. Cyber went aggro, but Sexy Cake was well aware.
Able to win that gunfight somehow, and now the decision has been made to drop the vertical control and start prepping for a potential plant. They need to open up that wall. There is still 2 Yokais left available in play here for Souls, for FaZe. Not going to be able to do it. It jumps up the hatch.
Yeah, that Echo drone. Love the positioning there. Opens up down the hatch, means that if one of those goes, it can pop out of there before it gets dropped just on the opener. If they try and plant it behind that dining table, Bullet is eyeing up the potential of a hop out here with the cover. Nesk is steadily able to open it up and make sure that that pops off. And misthrown grenade almost cost Sexy Cake his life. He does the other one deep in the canister, even deeper, drops further by. He's gonna try and stick it. There's the drone. It's gonna wait. It's gonna wait. It's gonna pop and it's gonna drop. There is a man down there though, but it's back on the roof. It misses. PSK gets both though.
Was waiting for so long to get that shot out. And he jumps back up again after he spots the player downstairs in the basement. He's like, oh no, I gotta go back up. But he flicks the shot down towards the basement, misses the diffuser as a result. And then needs to rush. Then needs to get the kill. And by the way, Sexy Cake just running through the smoke with the little HP he had because he knew he had to go deep in there. Succeeds. And Liquid, they equalize the scoreline. It's 4-4. And are they going to be able to bring this back? It's a timeout for FaZe. It looks like the coach is talking to the rest of the team. And what a couple of shots coming through here. Cameraman as well. He will be able to fight hard. This is the shot that misses the flick. Just a little bit too much. And then the kill comes in.
There were so many moments in that where it could have gone the other way. The run out on the top of K9 just whiffed those first swing shots and gave Sexy Cake that split second to process the intel and get the pick there. Sexy Cake almost missing the grenade, which, you know, meant they were able to pull away from it, didn't take damage from it, but at the same time,
it cost you a bit of time.
It cost you precious time. And when you're looking at less than 10 seconds, one of that, if not 2, is...
Especially with the Yokais and with the smoke and everything that is still down there. It was set up for failure on Liquid. And yet they find success. On a round that should maybe not have been theirs, but they were all put in their pocket either way and write their name underneath it. 4-4, all equalized up, and FaZe started off so dominant throughout this map. Their attacks were so clean, so, well, almost flawless. And yet we find ourselves here in a 4-4 situation where Liquid is 3 rounds away from making top 4 in SI. And where FaZe is currently 3 rounds away from being eliminated in the 6th invitation. Just a lot of pressure will be on. Who is going to be taking the lead? Will FaZe retake their lead in this map, or is it Liquid that will secure round number 9 and set themselves up to fight for a match point, and not just 1, but potentially 2? They want it, and we know what they can do. We saw them play on the previous map, we saw them play on Cafe, and we see them play right now. Their attacks are stunning again. Able to shut down FaZe. I'm not sure what happened. It's like we're seeing 2 different kind of teams playing here. Liquid from half 1, where they were being outrun by FaZe, and Liquid in the attacking half, where suddenly they win every single gunfight they can find. And the same goes for FaZe, but then they reversed.
3 of the last 4 rounds, they've all been 3 of 4 Liquids total. They're able to get 1 early on, and otherwise have threaded 3 in a row there. Those 2 drones, no, neither of them are going through. Went for the double drop there, but unfortunately no entrance. And Astro's going to make sure that they even have a worse time. Obviously, we're looking at now a post-technical timeout phase. They've had a conversation about why they think so much of this is slipping through their fingers. And to be fair, if they can't lock off this round, they suddenly find themselves on the back foot, and they find themselves suffering on a 3-site rotation. They find themselves already battled back. It's down to the wire. It's 1 or 2 of these moments that are otherwise costing them big in the blowout. And there it is. The cover comes through, pops the grenade and says, hang on a second, I'm out. A C4 is thrown, but there is the delayed explosion. The spray comes aggressively around the split side, and Palu slinks away to a separate story, but does that important part. However, in the meantime, the Chaos Moringa was lost. The calls go, as does that big gun and that watch on the far side. But Palu is gifted cameraman.
How did they're not aware of these situations that Palu is playing in? First of all, Cyber that he manages to injure, almost to cover his in time, and then cameraman just hunting for drones, being taken out. And now Astro, the man who we saw clutch so many times, is playing below. He's setting himself up to go for a potential flank or two, while put himself back up on site with the rest of his team, as right now Liquid is taking control slowly but steadily. The next man is finding himself on the top of Fireplace. There is going to be this Rooney laser gate right here that will be holding off the potential push, and as Bullet is trying to take the firefight here, he will make his position known, and he will make sure that Liquid will all single in their guns, single target him, because if they take him out, it's a 2-on-4 situation. There goes the Rooney charge. There is a very high angle here as well. The flashbangs are coming in. The grenades will surely follow soon as well, and Bullet tries to go for the secondary angle. He gets picked up. Sexy K gets the kill. 40 seconds left on the clock now. It's a 2-on-4 situation as Astro tries to retake the top floor.
FaZe are continually repositioning, still trying to find something to stop Liquid. And at this moment in time, it seems, well, tougher than tough. It's another take from another member, from another angle, and another window, and another blow. As a little bit more of your defense falls, that is that Banshee that can scream around the close corners as they go for the swing. But look at the timer. 15 seconds. Liquid yet again, leaving it to the last second. Yet again, there's an Echo still on the board. They suffer next, and they went for a fight first. They're going to go for it second, take the diffuser. 4 seconds, but the trade comes through. They got to pick it up and try and drop that diffuser. They can't make it. FaZe, by the timer and the skin of their teeth, claw that round.
Again, and on the back of a very important kill of Souls right there, able to drop that diffuser as it hops in. The Banshee still on site will make sure that no one else will be allowed to recover it. And as Astro moves in, he almost gets taken out. He was about to take the gunfight there, and FaZe was maybe going to be losing that round right there as we spoke. But they win it. And that means that the pressure will be on. The pressure will be on Liquid, because if they lose this round, they're facing match points. But at the same time, Liquid, their attacks have been so strong. FaZe also know that this could have just as well gone the other way around. If there was just that one piece of information, if Souls was known to be in the bar, they wouldn't have peeked it the way they did. They would have cleared him first before sending in the diffuser to be dropped outside. And now, a 5-4 round number 10 is underway, and Liquid are on the back foot yet again, but they have fought themselves back of it. They have managed to win 2 out of 3 rounds so far on their attack side, and if they continue to do so, we will be able to find ourselves in a 6-6 spot, or maybe even better for them.
So late in the wire, these takes and these plants. Liquid are trying to do so much, and to be fair, they're doing it well, but they're leaving themselves such a little amount of time to be able to actually stick that diffuser, whether they're up against a 5 versus 2 or a 2 versus 2. Either way, it seems to be the same final approach pace that is across their board, and it leaves you very little room for error. That's the danger and the risk of doing so much groundwork instead of trying to get into the site as quickly as FaZe were, where they had this, I guess, momentary moments of, we've lost a little bit, but we can rebuild, we can restructure and try and reconquer. Liquid say it's all or nothing. These horses, this cavalry is going to charge, and it's either going to be successful or we're going to have to take it on another day.
We'll have to find out if it's going to be another day or if Liquid is trying to get back in the saddle after that round and make sure they can continue. Sexy Cake, again, something we've seen him do so many times before, opening up on that wall to take control of box. And this time, no smoke canisters will be used by cameraman to try and slow him down. It's instead a C4 that is there to be tossed in as soon as that wall will open up to try and secure that kill. But he has to be careful, because if he tosses it a bit too early, the electrification will get it. But there you have it. C4 goes in, will not be able to find anything, and now more angles will be opened up, and the pressure will be on onto FaZe, who are holding off on that top floor site. No challenges onto library, whatever. They're bringing it back to these offices. That's where they want to fight. Office and piano. And that's what Liquid needs to take.
Well, it started here before. It was a swing round and a jump out that didn't quite lead to, but look at this different approach. Nesk! Well, they see you, but they couldn't quite react quick enough to take care of you. Now you have a second chance. Parlu makes Bullet only have the one his name, but Astro is quick to get the response. There is Sexy Cake, though. Drops Cyber as soon as his head pops up and tries to steadily retake it. Doesn't want to get taken from underneath, though. Knows that they're very aggressive on their verticality. Knows that there's still the potential of C4s, but might not know that it's Astro on this back line. Not too close to be able to catch them on that soft floor. The calls come through, and the drones get dropped. He's going to dig in. See if he can hold Solarium for as long as he can, and well, not very long. That C4 goes around the back, doesn't quite catch them as they pull tail and run and set the sun inside that staircase-laden room.
Need to fall in now, coming from Solarium. The hold is there, Souls is in there, will be digging himself deep inside the trophy, has the back of Astro. The smokes are popping off. It's now or never here for Liquid. This is the round you need to win if you want to win this in regulation. And within 10 seconds, we will find out whether or not the plants will go down or if it's going to be FaZe that will win this round. It is Souls that stays alive for just a little bit, but will go down right now. 3 seconds left. Are you going to be able to make this plant stick? Sexy Cake somehow finds himself inside the side. How do they know? How do they manage to get this? No, he misses the shots. FaZe win it, however, still. They got the down somehow.
I think it was from the dining room. The dining room door, I believe, was the last swing there. The cover came through, desperately scrambling to get that diffuser stuck down. They found a corner. They found the square foot of land that they were able to get to in the time that they had left. But that was all the time they had left.
The millisecond where the screen turns black and you're like, who won? We have no clue. It could have been the kills on either side. And FaZe, they take that one. And now there is going to be 2 map points available to them. Palu starting it off strong. Then we have Astro trying to take it on and holding on as long as he possibly can. But the control still in favor of Liquid for a while. And I'm still wondering what happened, and somehow Sexy Cake managed to find himself inside. And here you have it. This is going to be it. It must be cameraman.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Okay.
It was the swing from dining, I believe.
It must have been.
Just based on that last second thing, I mean, it's one of those moments where you're thankful the replays are being released after this tournament.
It is. You can go all the way back in and you can let your heartbeat rise up as you see these blitzers now that are going to be making its entry. Moringa on the blitz. Is this what Liquid need? Well, I mean, they might need it.
They might need it.
It's what I'm thinking about it. They have been successful at clearing out these angles, but they haven't been successful at flushing them out. So,
no.
You know, just send a shield at them. Who knows? Maybe that is the secret formula to make sure that you're going to be able to fight it back now. Because they're looking for that 6-5. They're looking to neutralize the first of 2 match points that FaZe will have available to them. And what way will they do it, if they do it?
It is so often said the 6th defender you play against is time itself, and here it has in a way been the biggest problem for Liquid on all these attacks. It's that all or nothing, it's that risk for reward, but it's that consistent punishment from FaZe. They were close to stopping it before their tactical timeout, and since then, well, they've been close to letting it slip by, but able to make sure that they can keep it in their favor. The hot pings come through as it pops over the top. They're burning any ADSs that might be there to allow this grenade to bounce on the close corners. Bullet gets caught. The upside down repel from PSK on the top of K9 is making sure that he doesn't get much further than where he was holding before. Another great pick, another great take as the opening here, and no response from FaZe this time yet.
That's the big difference. They find an opening without having to pay the price for it, and now Sexy Cake will be starting to open up, and I believe they just spotted out a yokai drone dropping through the hatch right there, so they're very well aware of the fact that they are roaming around. As the openings are being made yet again into box, they are going to be well aware of the fact that the challenge will be brought upon them soon. Nesk is on the long cover though. Will be opening up a vertical right into Dining to make sure that a potential roamer will not be able to be successful. A Sexy Cake will go down. That is the Maverick gone. What happened there? How did he manage to get that shot? Astra will go down in the meantime as well, though. But how did he go down? I have no clue.
That keeps Box solid as well until they can do some big structural work. That was how they made their approach a lot previously. And granted, they got the blitz this time. Souls is saying, look, hop down, I'll push you. There's a man beneath, and he can get you up before the pressure starts to come across. But talking of, here comes Blitz, digging his way around the top, but halted by the smoke canister that seemed to have the idea of his closeness to the danger. They're able to find that claw, pop the rest, and Palu finishes off Cameraman in the split. 30 seconds. An Echo still on the board, but no more Kaid. As now with Souls taking up the long angle, he wants to do the same thing he did before, but might not know the diffuser's being planted. Hop on the drone, mate. It's time to do your job. And there it is. The first goes, but Nesk, in the meantime, takes your remaining friend. You try and get a new angle, but all of it is under the pressure of bullets. Another drone too late. And now you've got a lot left to do. Palu's on the floor, inside the bathroom. They've been able to get him background and get out. No, it's just outside, and it's a Blitz holding the angle with the peak, with a lot of pressure. And this is one of the things that you do not like to see. What a take, but Nesk takes it right back.
Round 11 going to Liquid. Match point number 1 neutralized. Match point number 2 still on the board. FaZe. Are you going to be able to lock it out here, or will it be Team Liquid that will be fighting back yet once again? We saw them bring back the 4-2 deficit they had over the course of 2 rounds. After that, of course, FaZe able to fine-tune themselves, put themselves up onto 2 match points. But look at just the start right here. Bullet caught off guard completely by PSK. And that's how the shot came through. Cyber just rotating through, able to pick up a beautiful shot right there onto the Maverick. Slowed them down, but didn't quite stop them in their tracks, and leaves us at this point as where we are now. Master bedroom and office about to be played. FaZe, yet again, on a defense, and they will try and make sure that this will be the last one of Chalet, so they can move on to Coastline, so they can move on to a potential 3rd map where they have the opportunity to fight for their lives. Plus, Liquid will want to extend this map as long as they possibly can to wear out FaZe in case we go through a 3rd map, or make sure that they just close it out here.
From a 4-1 for FaZe into the 6-5 that we have before us, but one more chance, FaZe, to lock this out in regulation and not find yourself battling in OT. And it's a game of longevity. It's a game of just sticking that extra mile. They could have looked very good on their attacks. You had some time and took 2 after it, but since then we've just had the first one slip away. We've had one of the first plants in a while as well. It had a bit of time. It had room for error, which in a Team Liquid plant on this map is a big sign of success, because before it was one and done across the board, whether successful or otherwise.
All right. 2 minutes 30 are left on the board right now, and the pressure is starting to come in. Library will be taken by Liquid, and that is going to be their point of ingress. That will be the start of their attack, and Sexy Cake will be entering together with Nest. They're going to be trying to take care of the mute jammer so they can continue the droning work, but don't seem to find it yet. And after a bit of struggle, we'll finally have it. Nesk will be covering up the potential flank to come down from the library stairs, as, of course, default cams themselves are being taken out as well. The main idea would be to take care of the box wall like they have done so many times before. And while it was slowed down a little bit by Cyber, who was on a roam with that smoke, able to lock down the headshot onto Sexy Cake. This time runouts are being held. Will the flank be as well? And Sexy Cake again, starting to open up. It is going to be the Excaros to be deployed as well. They're hoping to make this a very quick one on Liquid's side.
That is a long angle on an attempt there, and that is Cameraman peeling back. They still have the hold that they want. It's under pressure, but FaZe have been able to be under pressure before and keep things under their kind of threshold, their dedication and designation of what they want to go when they want to go. Nesk. Talking of is the body that is down on the bottom, but look at this. Cameraman with a very deep rotate. It's one of the first times we've seen them go for something this wide and this debonair in terms of the holds of FaZe. might try and pop up the back of Fireplace and spring around the back of Nesk and see if he can maybe catch somebody else on the far side. With that C4, he could do some big damage. Just got to time it right, time it perfectly. As soon as Liquid feel like they need to eyes onto the site itself is when they can bring that revenge.
There is a drone located around the front door, so they would know exactly as soon as the Zofia is starting to move in. A lot of utility will be used on either side, and the Yokai drones start to hop up and down and make sure that the information will be there and that the denial opportunities are as well. Palu on the window of the bathroom, I believe that is going to be trying to lock down as many of the rotation possibilities as possible. And as Nesk is about to peek in, it's Liquid that try to put down the pressure now.
There goes the Echo drone, a couple of frag grenades start to pop off. They're still moving these C4s underneath. Astro is there too. They're ready to try and counter this diffuser, but it's the drone that's going to do the first job, drops it. But there's still that danger. That C4 gets somebody else. Nesk has the cover, but Souls has revenge. Now it's suddenly all flooding in, but Sexy Cake sticks it and then moves and drops the smoke as well. Suddenly it's just Astro. He slipped underneath with a team kill in and amongst the misc. He has a gift. But he still has a lot of punishment potentially lying ahead for him. He's timing this one out. They're having a team talk. They're using this moment. He knows he can't get the retake. They're having a conversation. The same one, hopefully, that they had before. How did we take 2 rounds? And most importantly, how are we going to do it again?
We are heading into overtime here. Team Liquid make it work, and Astro realized as well there is no way. You hear the cheering in the background going on as the timer hits 7. Liquid are well aware of this. The hands are off the keyboard though. FaZe are talking this through. They're talking about what needs to happen next, because suddenly a map that was so dominant for them at the start of their attacking half seems to be slipping away from them. And now is Liquid's opportunity to try and make it work. Overtime is coming up, however, and Liquid will stay out on the defense. So FaZe get to play the favored side. They get to stay on the attack. The side where 8 of these rounds were won so far. And let's see if they can get 2 more. Either combination. 2 on attack, 1 on attack and 1 on defense. As long as you do get those 2 rounds rather than your opponent.
Would it have been FaZe's pick or would it have been Liquid's pick? In OT, isn't it the map choice?
It is Liquid's pick.
Liquid's pick.
Yes.
I bet they're regretting going defense now.
I think you're right. I think you're totally right with that. I don't think they would like to go to the defense now.
As far as I remember, the rules are, if you get to OT, it's whoever chose the map.
Yeah, so
gets the choice of what they start on. You never know how a map's going to go, though.
That's the whole thing.
Yep.
We got confirmation.
Confirmation. Liquid chose, the rules are still what I remember. Liquid chose defense overtime. We have seen 4-2 either side for the attackers. We've seen great attacks from these 2 teams, and we've seen struggles to hold on to the spaces.
That is the thing, and it is going to be the Bar gaming site that gets chosen as the starter for Liquid. Now, I'm not sure, but I don't remember that one to be very successful as a...
They won with 1 of their takes. They lost it as their very opener. They lost it halfway through, and then they took it as their final take with a defuse, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a defuse, but it was also a Apollo 4K and a 1v1 clutch in the end. So how much are you going to be relying on that? Because they lost it twice before. They did manage to win, which site was that? Master Office in the first try, and then lost it once more afterwards. But that was also due to the fact that Nesk was able to get up a triple kill. They were able to bring the fight to the outside world, and that is probably the thing that you need to keep in mind. You need to make sure that you bring that fight to FaZe, and you don't lose these early entries, because you can also see 5 of the 6 entries on the attacking half went the way of FaZe. And on the attacking half of Liquid, 5 out of 6 entries went the way of Liquid. So you gotta make sure that you keep that entry in your pocket as if you are a Liquid fan right now, to make sure that you are going to be going into this with the upper hand. As we see shield still being deployed. I cannot wait until we see the chaos unfold.
So we did see a little bit of echo on the defense when they played this before, but we saw it as a consistent on all of FaZe's defenses, so they're actually going to try and see if they can find some of that success. It came down late. They have the frost mats too to just buy themselves a little bit more time. The canisters that have otherwise been played pretty well in terms of the timing and the pacing, but as he said, it boils down to this, the opener. This is a very wide bit of pressure here. All of the points where they might think they have a bit of an escape are steadily being locked off by FaZe, with one all the way on K9 with the push here from the library balcony as well. Curious to see if those Geminis from Cameraman are ready to pop around the corner. Has the grenades too in case somebody gets here, or they want to try and pull apart some of these shields, some of this hold, and Nesk potentially on the top of the stairs, but it's actually the first pair that bounce around the back.
Oh, kill!
What a perfect grenade.
It just rolls in just in the right place to make sure that PSK will drop, and that is going to be the entry that FaZe need. The entry we've been talking about, and Bullet is trying to rush the side. Bullet is inside the site, and is he going to be able to do what he did before as he's about to enter? Entry, yes he will. Gets the kill, opens it up, goes for two, will find it as well. Palu will go down. It's a 2-on-4 situation now, but the flank is being put into motion here. Sexy K picks up one.
He doesn't know that there's somebody inside the site still. They're going to swing this close corner. They pre-fire, and they can't quite get it. They do in the end. But it was pretty scratchy. Now Nesk has everything left to do. Pulls himself up the fireplace stairs. There's one close on the hold here, and there's obviously two inside the site itself. Pre-fires around the corner, but Cyber fires back. And FaZe open it up in the same way they opened up this entire map, taking all of that mantle of the site, taking all of that pace, and reminding us just what they were able to do so well on their attacking half.
And now Liquid is going to be in the back foot yet again, but that is a position they have found themselves in basically throughout the entirety of the map of Chalet. From a 4-2 split to a 4-4 equalizer. So being 6-4 behind and having to fight back 2 match points, which they succeeded to do. Now they need to fight back one more to secure themselves a match point, a situation they haven't been in yet for this map. And they will be doing it on the attack. Will they be able to do it?
All the way is how this one's being driven, and it's the second of our best of 3 phase. One more defense, one more hold, successful before on the bar and the office bedroom, and that's where you think you might be able to put this map to bed, tuck it in, and take us to our final of Coastline, which if we get there with this same ferocity on attacks, oh, I'm excited.
That is going to be a very exciting map if we do even manage to get there, though. FaZe bringing out the castle, trying to slow down the attack as much as they can. But there is a Sledge, but there is a Hibana, but there is a Zofia and a Maverick and everything you can imagine. So you can almost not imagine any of these barricades to stay up for longer than they should. As we are on that top floor. A library hold and take will surely come out. You see the line is being brought up here by Liquid. You see them hoping to go for some quick entries, rappelling up onto the library balcony right here and putting up some pressure into games as well. How are they going to be able to find that entry? It is so important to have it as an attacker. You cannot afford to lose it as a defender.
Moringa, otherwise he has been juggling operators a little bit to get some control over the players, hasn't quite found his way in terms of the board, but with Palu putting up such huge numbers and Sexy Cake doing so much bits too, you haven't really needed to. It's just maybe that little bit of edge might come from those screams in the sky, those roars of a lion that starts this collapse. The C4 gets caught but still catches. Nesk on the top of the book stand. It's another rotation that comes through, and Palu comes through just as much as he's needed to. Astro gets taken on the backside. That's the support, and there's the E1D. Bullet's offering everything he can to Souls. But he knows that this pressure is mounting. He knows all his attention is being paid. Cyber, he's hepped up and he's trying to offer it to. Cameraman is underneath. He's in a situation where he might offer something back, but another EU1D, another moment, another held breath, and another spray around a corner for Moringa to take care of Souls over the top of the rafters.
3-4 situation. FaZe is on the back foot. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. It's plenty of time to work with here for Liquid. And look at the utility left. 3 grenades as well. They need to find where these players are. Cameraman is in a deadly spot down here below. The potential for a flank, but it seems like they might be aware on the side of Liquid as the openings now start to happen, and that should be the call for Cameraman to try and get the kill from happening. But Moringa is locking that one down, and thus will be forcing the castle to rotate around and make sure that he will not stick, and Cyber digs in close. The opening will be made. He is going aggressive straight away, but he's not able to lock down the kill, and the next E1D will be coming out. The wall will stay soft, 35 seconds on the clock.
That wall staying soft may have just saved that Maverick's life, but the Lion is the one that saves his own. Moringa holds off most when he needs to, and Cyber yet again is finding himself having to rotate into the mantle, but Palu goes fishing for blood. Finally, the Lion is put down and caged. The Maverick suffers next. Animal for animal and 10 seconds left, but Palu is the biggest animal of all.
Cameraman almost able to get that clutch from happening. Picks up one, goes aggressive, picks up two, unexpected. And as he runs around the corner, he gets picked up by the SMG-11. And now is literally do or die for FaZe. This round will either eliminate them or allow them to move on to a map number 3, where they have the opportunity to fight for their tournament, where they have the opportunity to fight for the hammer to potentially come closer into sight. Or again, I'm not so sure about this side. I don't think it's going to be working.
You wonder, don't you? You wonder, okay, technically they've only pulled 2 successful defenses. One was the bedroom and one was the bar. They just tried the bar again, and it failed. And you're thinking, are they trying to play a bait game? Are they saying they won't expect it? Might they set up for a different take in the game of FaZe? It doesn't matter, because what is such a big blaze for their approach is that intensity, that massive control and haze they have over you. It is unstoppable when they're on their roll.
We see the same setup coming out again, and the issue that we have on this side is that we have bullets entering from the stairs, coming up the fireplace, sneaking into the side, taking down the player in pantry, maybe even anywhere else as well. That is what you need to put your attention to. You need to make sure that Bullet is not allowed to just sneak in and take you out and assassinate your whole setup. And you can make all the setups you want. You can make it all beautiful and pretty if you want, but if you then again, for the 3rd time in a row, maybe even 4th time, it'll be taken care of by the same old trick that is being pulled every so often. That setup won't help you.
7-7, and you are... The bias I have right now is I don't want this game to stop. I know that...
Get Infinite OT now.
We have Infinite OT. Can you just activate it just for this one, please? Thank you. Okay, no, it's not. It's one person, one team will be able to take it all right now. And Liquid, as you said, they have gone back to a hold that they've done, demonstrated, and generally lost. And you're sitting here as a viewer. You're sitting here as a fan, as a commentator, as an analyst, and I'm sure everybody at home and going, prove us wrong. Tell us and show us why you're so adamant that this is your decision. This is the one that you think will lock out this map, take you home, and put us in this final situation. Bullet digs deep. Once again, he is this person that has consistently driven this map. And previously, we've had Cyber take that mantle. We've had Astro take it. But Bullet, this map has taken rounds and taken momentum into his own.
He snuck in so many times, and right now it is the rest of the attack that seems to be putting up some bias towards the snowmobile garage as well. Might be wanting to go for a bit of an aggressive take towards there, and maybe even go for a multiple man rush into that side. But first, the pressure they need to deal with will be the library. A shield will be there to back him up this time. There is going to be 2 ADSs and a frost mat on the window to make sure that they won't just be able to enter. And as that's a C4, but it just gets sniped out. Cameraman will not be able to make that one stick. The first grenade comes in and takes care of the shield. The second grenade comes in and won't be able to take care of the player. PSK will live for now.
There's still one more grenade, though. There's still one more step. There's one more bit of damage no longer. He's been able to survive. He lost all of his utility. The ADS is the shield gone. So now it's just a matter of seeing if he can stick it. He might be able to dolphin dive down the hatch, but FaZe, you expect them to have the watch and the game on that approach. They reconvene, reset up, and dig themselves underneath Fireplace. Bullet, he is eyeing the door yet again. Cyber has the cover yet again, and 30 seconds is all that ticks for the last swing of this clock. Palu,
He is the one.
he's holding off, he's waiting. And these final rolls and purrs of the drone are everything right now. The spray comes, the break is Bullets, and he's able to take it with the other two stacking up on the door themselves. They want to swing through, and they do. They go deeper than they expect, but there's a man in the corner covered. Astro gets it and goes all the way into the supply room to lock off the cover. They've got to try and stick it. There it is, Astro, with the double that matters the most. It's Nesk trying his best to claw this back in. Astro sticks it. They have cover, they have an idea. They're not quite sure where he is. Oh, no! Bullet with the most important take, and we are gonna head to Coastline.
We're gonna head there indeed, and it was just a matter of a second, even less. Giving him 50 milliseconds more, he would have been able to get the kill down onto the diffuser and secure the matchup. And the the top 4 spot for Liquid, but it is FaZe that will be able to come in yet again. As a similar kind of take, this time with a bit more responsive Liquid. They had people in the bar already, but Palu losing that first gunfight to Bullet, as you see right there, that is what eventually lost you that round. That is what allowed him to snowball through and make sure that this matchup, and map rather, is theirs.
Well, for all the times we talked about Liquid being a little bit late onto the push, I'm sure that we're going to have a bit to break down, catching our breath, catching our word, and we're going to catch a couple of adverts before we head over to the expert desk and find ourselves on what is turning out to be a hell of a best of 3. See you in a bit.
What does it take to create a secure community? Join us on the second episode of I Call Next as we discover how to protect what's most important and enable worry-free play.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What a map 2 between FaZe Clan and Team Liquid. I hope you've had these past couple minutes to catch your breath, because all of us really needed it here inside of the arena. We're still live. It's 10 p.m. around here in Paris, France, and we're going to go all night for this one. I promise you. What a hell of a game that we've had between the two. Liquid have had an issue with planting on time. FaZe have used and abused the Echo, and even in the moment where they didn't have it, still able to clinch a victory, but only just by Oh, just a tiny little inch.
It's the narrowest of margins, isn't it? A maximum overtime there between those games. Called for it on the cast, the maximum, the infinite OT would have been brilliant for this one, just to really slug it out and see who would come away a distinct winner. But Chalet there erring on the side of the attackers. It is the highest win rate map for attackers, and that was demonstrated there with 4-2 splits.
Yeah, it was. Liquid probably regressing. Their starting side for overtime probably wanted what FaZe had, and I think that was a big reason why we seen FaZe win, was because they had that attack on the overtime. So yeah, give credit to FaZe. They were able to muster up those attacks in the final stages, and Ollie, they never make it easy, do they? It's so difficult.
It's always heartbreaking to watch. 6
plants went down. Those were the plants that actually won the round, or the defenders destroying the diffuser. 2 rounds for FaZe Clan on time, and 9 and 10 on their defensive side. Down to the wire, it is definitely the case, but I'm starting to think that this might not translate the same way to Coast. So let's just finalize Chalet here and have a final chat. What is to come out of this from Team Liquid? What do they need to fix come map 3 to take a W?
I think some of the plants were a little bit sketchy, like you said. There was times where plants were going down in the dying few seconds. Now, that's all well and good on a map that's known inside and out, like Clubhouse. You get away with planting there with 5 seconds left to go because you know the good spots. But we saw those spots be exploited there. The unpredictability on the side of FaZe is something that really dragged them on through this one, and Liquid just couldn't seem to adapt and keep up with that.
For me, I think FaZe had a great game plan, being able to slow down Liquid as much as they could. I think I seen a very interesting technique from them whenever Sexy Cake in the classic position, opening up that office wall with the blowtorch, and we seen early smokes be tossed out to try and stop him from having that early breach being opened up. I think FaZe read very well into how Liquid actually set up their attacks.
I have to say, very impressive. There were some minute technical things that were happening that even when we were sitting upstairs in the green room, we had to kind of slow down and see exactly what happened. Actually, the perfect moment for you, Demo, to step up to the telestration station and talk us through a replay that you had.
Gladly. Okay, so let's dive into our round we're going to be after. Should hopefully be a good view for everyone, and it is going to be taking place on round 4. I know, a very long time ago now, it feels like, but we're going to be looking at that bar hold from Liquid. FaZe Clan coming in, trying to associate their breach coming in from the office side, which is pretty typical. Nothing really out of the ordinary. So we'll let it run through for a little bit, and we'll spot out some stuff that I kind of picked up on. First of all, one big thing that I have to highlight from Liquid on this hold is a lot of teams will try and hold in towards Fireplace, which, as you can see, is this area around here. You see the Frost trying to hold in and secure this top side. But one thing that I'm very surprised about is the fact that they haven't reinforced that wall. We usually see that be reinforced. It then gives the attackers another thing they have to kind of cross off of their checklist, but no, they decided to leave it soft. That just creates another angle that the attackers can abuse you from, so I'm not too sold on what Liquid were actually attempting, so we'll let it run through again, and you'll start to see the pieces form for Liquids, or for FaZe, should I say, sorry. Right now, nothing really happening. There's gearing up, getting ready in positions. Just to note, we have Bullet by himself inside a kitchen. In this round, he didn't really play a part, so don't worry about him. He was there, didn't really have an impact. So we'll keep running through. Most of the highlights that we're going to be looking at is the top floor, and as you can see right now, this is where we're stationed. If we actually take a look at the positioning of everyone on FaZe, we've got one guy outside of that single window ready to jump in towards that corridor. We've got another man inside a K9, but most of the pressure coming in is actually going to be around the library. This is the side of the map that was so big for FaZe. And one thing that some people might not have noticed is the play from Astro. Astro did incredible in this scenario. Way over on the double window, he actually made a mad dash through that double window, down the hatch, and into the bomb site. It was an incredible play. As you can see, he picked up the kills, and whenever that play came in for Astro, everyone from FaZe jumped in. Souls was able to find the kill, as it was the Frost moving in towards library. That was under their control, and then from there, like I said, the man outside the window jumps in, wins that engagement, and from there, the pieces just fall. FaZe Clan, easy as you like to have that play out. So this is where we'll actually be able to see in terms of the first-person perspective. This will give you a better idea of what we were dealing with. As you can see, the nades, this is the library that I was talking about. The nades go in, and also, I must add, This nade coming in this location was perfect. It was able to actually ricochet off the wall and hit the shield onto the Frost. So at that stage, they've lost their fireplace control, and there was Astro. If we actually just want to go back a little bit and you actually see the mad dash, just get ready for it. Let's see if we can find it. Right there. Right over there. He has jumped in the window, down the hatch, and then from that stage, he is able to get that kill, and everyone just jumps on. And as I explained, all the pieces come together, and FaZe just a fantastic round. Really, really impressed with that one.
Thanks so much, Demo. Man, he's so passionate when he's on the mic. Honestly, I gotta say, there it is. FaZe Clan able to take a very close map 2 against their opponents of Team Liquid. Our lobby's almost ready, so we're gonna rush through things for our Coastline quick chat. How will this go? Hectic map usually. Who do you see coming on top, Ollie?
I mean, it's the direct opposite, really, of what we've seen up until this point. This is a frag fest, and there's the last map as the deciding map inside of a best of 3. For that to be a map that you're just going to want all out-and-out gun skill on, Coastline is known as a little bit of a Parlu map, so that could be an indicator, but for really, it's anyone's at this stage.
It's disgusting, and I think the players who have been performing well so far in this series, that will favor them. The ones who are hot right now, the ones who are getting those kills. If we see another great performance from some players from FaZe, could be a quick one for Liquid, but like you said, Paulu, very, very strong.
Put your hands in the air if you're hot right now. And that's the one I'm told about. XR Troika Demo, thank you so much for breaking things down here for map 2 and preparing ourselves for map 3. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my, oh my, oh my. We're only Friday. There's only 2 more days to go here at Invitational. Decide who lifts the trophy at the end of the week. But we're going to have to see who makes it out of this gauntlet. FaZe Clan versus Team Liquid. We're going to have to Sunny Ibiza for this one. And we've got our friends Fluke and Hap to take us through it. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to one of my favorite experiences, which is the Latin America Coastline, or as it's known, Litoral. It is so much fun. It is so good to watch this region play this map. They've demonstrated it before, all the way back since we were doing the OGA pit stuff many, many moons ago. You and I had the pleasure of casting that and really seeing the deep dive on this region inside this play space. Oh, it's fun.
It is going to be very fun, is it? We have a very close matchup, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't noticed yet, we had a dominant map 1 for Liquid, a Kafe that went completely their way, even though it was still a 7-4 in scoreline. Then we had a FaZe that started off so strong with a 4-1 lead onto their attacking half, and somehow we found ourselves in an 8-7 maximum OT situation where the difference was literally half a second. Or it would have been Liquid to close us. Now, we are going up to Coastline, everybody. You just heard them shout. That means we're into the matchup. And of course, the first task is to ban these operators. Who will be removed and who will see the light of day? And the first one to go is Zofia.
Okay. It's a restriction on this map, and you know, it's very quick bans coming through. The conversation of how can we pull something out of what was a very pacey attack. Jackal, that limits the control on the roam. That limits the boxy space that Coastline is in the sort of hold. You dig yourself in. Valkyries all step for step and par and all within the course and the green for that as well. It is pretty numerical. The only standout right now so far is Zofia, but it will add some solidity to that defense. And I think it's a bit of a clever play, because one thing that we saw before on Chalet was Liquid being late on their attacks, their collapses, and struggling with that last bit of utility sometimes, like Banshees. Pulling Zof out of that might be something that Coastline's a much thinner map, but that might cause similar problems. That might find them having to play a bit later than usual.
It's funny that you say that, because let's just look at some of these entry kill times, right? FaZe, 1 minute, 1 minute 15, 2 minutes 37, 2:12, 2:07, 2:05, 1:12, 2:2. And then when you go over to the side of Liquid's opening kills, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, 55 seconds, 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, which is the outlier, 12 seconds on the clock. So if you're talking about they were a little bit slow on some of their attacks, yes, they left it up to the very, very last moment, but they were able to come through, to pull through. And now, of course, knowing there might be a little bit of a restriction with the lack of the Zofia, it is something you can adapt to.
It's massively worth mentioning Coastline is paper thin in comparison. I know I've said it a couple of times throughout this, but it's always worth reintroducing it if you're kind of not used to seeing these experiences on these different maps and what they can offer, and you're trying to, in this game, you take a lot into consideration as much as you can, and the physicality of what a map offers is one of those things. It is quick by design, quick by definition, sometimes punishingly so. So anything that might give FaZe that advantage and make Liquid seem more like Chalet Liquid rather than Kafe Liquid is a good change and a good Liquid in their books at least.
2:43. Air jabs being deployed, making sure that these runouts are going to be happening. Liquid on that attack. Starting off Coastline here, it's FaZe that is on that defense, and let's see which of the two will be leading the pack and leading the charge. Is Nask already clearing out here on the guidance of a drone? We'll be aware of the fact that Penthouse will indeed be clear, and no one will be in theater either. The threat, however, will be from below. Souls playing with that Nitro, pre-placing it as well. Astro hoping that they are going to be able to put up the damage that is necessary to take out these Liquid players right before they strike.
Well, that mute jammer just on the back of the vase is able to stop those popping open. I think there it goes. The Thatcher rolls through. He's on the board for one of the first times in a while, and that will allow them to alleviate some of these holds. Hard destruction, though, isn't the biggest be-all and end-all. That's usually one of only a couple of walls that ever really gets open for the angles it gives you, sometimes the back of quad, if you want to dig out the player that's on the corner, but obviously it's usually a smoke, and smoke is gone. So instead, we're going to see slight adaptations, Goyo, to buy themselves some of those angles and maybe some of that time, and 4 C4s in total to play against that default just on the inside of Aquador.
And the S-charge that was just placed down did not destroy the pre-placed C4 that is still down there. You can see that on the left top of your screen on that HUD. Important to notice as well, as where previously EMPs would be destroying these little pieces of utility, that's no longer the case, and that means it will still be active and will live through many of these different ways. That's a good grenade. Palu opens up the score, and Cameraman will be guided towards the cameras himself to try and find more as Palu goes aggressive. Gets a second somehow.
He's already found his way into Coastline and taken a double across, well, technically 3 different stories if he started on the roof, but let's say it's 2 for the sake of the map and the deaths involved. What a take. But what a little amount of time that is suddenly left, 30 seconds. And they're starting to see if they can get some ground underneath, clear a pocket around that default plant space so they can't get those C4s in. It's Bullet that has an idea that someone's close, but they've gotten closer than they know. They aren't 100% aware, and look at the pressure that comes around the backside. Suddenly it's just the one body and a nobody.
What a way. Oh, what a way to start this off. Flawless round right after we come out of Chalet.
This is one of those great series of Siege and great games of Siege where you're aware of the stakes, but in a way they don't massively, you forget about them. Just for a bit, because
great.
You just laser in on the game itself and the play between 2 teams that are giving it their all and giving it everything to take. And yeah, there's huge stakes. The losing team goes home. The losing team doesn't have a chance to lift the hammer, to be that team that might take it, because it's a new team. Whoever gets to hold the hammer this time, they are fresh hands that are going to lift that to the sky and the ceiling of this wonderful auditorium.
Valebonia.
I tried to pronounce it earlier on stream, and
did it not go well? Or did it?
Oh, I mean, it went okay.
Okay, because I was going to say, you have a history
of mispronouncing French on stream. Yes. So I didn't double check with any native speakers whether I messed it up or not. First opening round, beautiful. It's a flawless, and it was perfect. They knew where they needed to be. The early kill was caught sleeping, and then the drop down to get the Mozzie as well. I think Mozzie was taken a bit by surprise, thought he would have a moment instead, and didn't expect Palu to double down on the aggression, but, well, that's what Palu does when he's having these games and when he's having these moments, and to jump off a roof and kill a man throwing an explosive off you.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think the Mozzie expected the sledge to be that close in that case, because he had a Nitro in hand, and at that moment it was like, well, awkward. As the Oryx is making its its way in. Already created some of the rotations for the defensive lineup. With that, saving some ammunition for cameramen and saving a lot of time for the setups as well. Only taking about 5 HP, of course. Not a big deal.
In concept, I love Oryx's possibilities on this map. Because Coastline gets limited very quickly. If a team's good at closing down those rotations of the angle, if they get themselves hopped up on the roof of the Danger Donut, they can laser line across. I often equate it to like avoiding snipers in a stealth game like Splinter Cell, as you see the lines across and you're like, can I get past? Oryx offers you a counterballast in that. With the 2 staircases being very often locked very quickly, you have so many hatches. You have hidden hatches too. They're in awkward places for the attackers to keep a mantle on, like the one that's in security, and like this one that's sort of played around lobby, and like the one in the back corner of Aqua. There's a lot of options in every single corner of this map, and on paper, he could be great. On paper.
Paper, he can be great.
You want him to be great.
We haven't seen it yet the way we want him to see, though. And then that is the question, will this finally be that chance? Nesk takes Astra out. Puts it to sleep with the fishes. They're in aquarium. And as that is now FaZe again with a man down, they need to make sure that this does not escalate the way he did the previous round, because we all know how that one ended. It was Liquid to start off with a flawless on Coastline here. And for now, it's still calm in the auditorium. No one is talking. It's really quiet, but that will change soon as Liquid is putting on the pressure.
Wow, and even more so, Nesk from above is a danger, and Palu, he's living dangerously. Most of his health is blown out of the building as he finds himself on a sliver, which in the role of a sledge, well, it's a dangerous job, but somebody's got to do it. 1 grenade left is going to be the cost here, and Cyber, he's looking for some rotate potential. He's looking for some pressure he might be able to pop.
Smart.
Drops and gets rid of it. And as he said, very smart, as Bullet also takes care of PSK.
Has the opportunity to join in luggage for the man that was still there, but it's Nesk with a triple kill. Plants will go down. 45 seconds soon on the clock. Bullet will be spotted out as he's trying to retake the vertical control, and Paolo will get that kill quite cleanly. It's only up to Cyber now, runs into the reinforcement. That won't help you there. Cyber tries to go aggressive, but runs right into the crossfire there. Nesk with a quad kill himself. And a beautiful round here from Liquid. A second one in a row, and they're starting to come alive again after FaZe just barely won out on Chalet.
Little bit of a missed moment there. I'm seeing these disconnects in FaZe's holds that we haven't otherwise seen before, but Coastline, it is one that does lend itself well to attackers. It becomes quite tough to secure space, and it's why I always get excited when I see an Oryx, because it has this option of possibility. It gives you maybe an idea, maybe a way to bring some freshness to a map that it's not that it's per se stale, it's just that it doesn't offer defenders a huge amount of new. It doesn't give you a lot of creative ways to embrace the construction of it. It's still not got a lot to it physically. It becomes a thread across an entire sort of pocket of space. It becomes a thread of holds and ankles and ways to dig in at encroaching attackers or potentially rotating defenders from pre-holds, from presets. And in a way, the flank watch is probably tested on this map more than on any other, because it's not always just utility, it's almost entirely and consistently gunfights that they find themselves in, but these are fights maybe less than 10, 15 feet from the site itself.
I'm still amazed by the knowledge of the Oryx. Like, oh, there is an airjet up there, so I cannot jump up the hatch. So let's just shoot out the floor so the airjet pops. Didn't decide to go there, of course, in the end, but
It's prepping.
at least stick it out in case he needed to go up there, but instead he decided to run into a reinforced wall. I mean, you know, there's multiple ways you could go at it.
When you say it like that.
It sounds a bit like I'm bullying him, right? Like teasing.
Well, enough that Oryx has now gone home, and we find ourselves back with a similar setup onto the hookah that we had before. Mirror with the extensions. She used to be banned. We talked about this earlier. She used to be banned pretty much consistently. Now she's allowed back on the board. There's more important things to take off, and in this case, obviously, you lose that smoke, which is, it's a curious removal, but it's not the most unexpected, to the point where we see teams, you know, it's not that they embrace it, but they're ready for adaptations around it. It does cost the defenders because there's safe places to play those smoke canisters. And these are two teams that we've already seen demonstrated are very talented with their smokes and with that SMG. Any one of those off the board is a fine removal, I think, for either of these two teams.
Very, very much so. And these SMGs that have been causing some problems for many of the other teams. Talking about problems, FaZe seems to be having some right now. Currently, Liquid is on an absolute tear, on an absolute roll, and as Nask is taking the first initial piece of damage, he will stay alive. And Moringa right now will be aware of the fact that the player is right beside. The Nitro will miss. He spots out the armor. However, loses his head. Souls picks up the first kill, but Nask goes aggressive.
Digging his way through kitchen as Souls cooks up a little bit more trouble inside the bar itself. Served, shaken, and cold. Cyber is the cherry on the top of the drink, and now they're making sure that he gets nowhere further. Goodbye, one of them, but there's a man close on your left who might not know about it. Sinesk, he has to pop out of there. There's also a body above. They're all around you. You're surrounded. Get out of there, Agent Nesk. You're in danger. And your only offer of recompense and savior is PSK. He is holding onto the service and doing his best to service that flank watch. As I said, it is this matter of I'll watch your back, you, I guess, try and do the rest, because there's nowhere else really we can go. And oh no, it's only PSK left in this situation now. Everything to do, and all of the holds still playing into FaZe's favor.
PSK is sole man on a mission with 40 seconds on the clock to make it happen. He got spotted out there by the default cam, and that will make it a lot harder, so we might see a call for a timeout here to be made. Indeed, Runout comes out. There's no way he's going to be going for this. This is a timeout. This is Liquid saying, all right, it's fine. We'll take a loss. We know when it's over. Let's talk about what we can do better next round.
Yeah.
As they already have to. They don't need to do whatever they have to get this round. Sometimes it's better to take these extra 20 seconds, not having to use your tactical timeout straight away, just to quickly discuss what's going on and what needs to happen.
The thing about this game as well is you know that these two teams like to hit that punch early. You know they like to get aggressive early, so you don't really have that time at the beginning of a round. You can have brief moments to talk about the sort of push and what you're able to work out, and in the defender's case, the hold that they're putting into place, but that's obviously talked about now. But otherwise, in terms of the round timer itself, there's no real conversation time. There's no slow build. It's a punch. It's an explosion. It's a welcome to the party. How can we greet you? Kind of like that, with a drift by and then picking up one more for the trouble. Make it a double.
Beautiful kills there from Souls. Liquid unable to reply with that FaZe, put themselves on the board here on Coastline. So 2 very good rounds coming in from Liquid. Now those are still on the board, of course. They still happened. It's just that FaZe finally put a good round themselves on the board as well to just return the favor. And as we are heading towards the kitchen and service entry, we will know that there will be a heavy emphasis on that top floor. Something they need to make sure they keep control of, because otherwise that is going to be completely opened up by Palu's Caber.
So the mirror set up that extension that they can give themselves across the front face of lobby, across any of that immediacy that likes to be played here. It's what I talked about before when I say you thread your defenses. You have those angles all the way back to security where you'll probably have a man that plays around there to swing by office if they need to make sure they don't have the quick entrance there too. They also have the back at the bottom of that white stairs. They can't quickly get in. Usually you'll see a take start either on the hookah side or you'll see it start on the penthouse side. Sometimes teams, if they're feeling bold, just dig themselves into Sunrise and pummel their way across the front face here, but it seems like we're getting the penthouse flavor this time.
Penthouse indeed. As the opening will be made. Surely they'll find out. There's a mirror window. It's just waiting for it. Just trying to get some information. Trying to make sure that the entry of the attack will not be as smooth as they might want it to be, and that means they need to now take lobby control, and with that they have the opportunity of opening up the mirror window. However, that will be contested by FaZe as well. They're not giving away anything for free as we speak, and these pings are coming out. They know what needs to be done. They know what walls need to be opened up, and as Bullet and Astra are running into new directions, it's Sexy Cake to finally put down that pressure onto the 90 hallway.
Well, they're trying to find a comfortable place to play Cyber, but they know that that window is going to be watched, and either way out, it's a bit of a fight. There is that mirror window being popped from relative safety. There might have been an explosion around the corner to buy themselves time. No, all C4s are still in pocket. I heard a pop, but it wasn't for that, and that will get dropped. They stick it. Souls wants another fight with this Vector, which he's so adept with, but in the meantime, Nesk drops a body through the verticality, takes one out on side sight. Cameraman suffers yet again. C4 still in pocket, not able to get some revenge now, and that frees up a little bit more verticality. Another C4 bombs, but right where there was an explosion already, so he already found himself that little bubble of safety and pocket away. But look at this spread. Cyber wants to try and bite back. They're trying to put pressure back onto Penthouse. They're saying you cannot have this as comfortably as you do. We're making sure you don't. Cleaned up inside shower.
Good shot there, very necessary as Souls and is trying to hold on right here. Nesk needing to make an entry happen, but Souls will be able to pick up one more as Cyber now drops to try and help the site in case that Liquid decide to go for the push either way. And there is one member ready to go for the push. He is being challenged from the bomb chassis, but that is fine. He is not really trying to go for that kill first. He wants to get the Jaeger that just managed to return. He's all too deep in sight now. 35 seconds. Sexy Cake is ready at the server's entrance. Needs to find a kill if he wants to go for the plant. Moringa will go down on the top floor. The second kill comes out as well. It's only up to PSK now. 25 seconds.
Really well played there from FaZe. As I said, they started to bite back, retake the territory and turf that had slipped away, and another time team out comes from the guns of Liquid. It's a 4 versus 1, and the diffuser's in front of a big, scary open door. I think the only thing that you'll be served with on that entrance is a notice of eviction from the plane of existence. It is 2-2 for FaZe Clan. It is a good resurgence from what was a quick 2 rounds slipped away from them, and it is heating up on Litaro.
It is heating up. I see them, they're being happy. They're also very vocal, talking about what needs to happen. The pressure is on because today and right after this map, one of these teams is going to be eliminated from the 6th Invitational. And which one will it be? Both currently have a map underneath them. Liquid started off really strong here on Coastline, but FaZe are able to make it come back, and I believe that is a 6-pick to the mirror from the Oryx. This blue and sunrise bar that will be chosen to be defended by FaZe. And I have a feeling. We are going to another overtime. Just a tiny feeling.
Well, it's 2-2. Let's see how this starts to build. We've had 2 apiece. It's been either side. It's now the mantle and the pressure's on Liquid to see if they can pull some of this back into their favor. That success that they had so early, can they reconstruct it? FaZe have done good at being able to dig back against them. As I said, it was sort of a start of a battle of attrition that ended up in just being violence and volition. They threw themselves back into the penthouse and made sure that the name on the door was theirs and stayed theirs. This extension, peppering and pre-firing, hoping somebody slips by. There's a drone on the door, but nothing much more than that.
Moringa trying to find something, knows the door has been opened up and will be careful as a result. A very clever airjet being put down there, stopping the run out from happening, just blasting them straight back inside as soon as they come out. It's like, no. Back in. You're not allowed to go out. There's FaZe all over the map right here. No one really on site, just Souls quite close. The rest all over the place. And as the pressure is coming down, it will be Estra the first one to drop. And with that, give away the top floor pressure. Of course, we'll still be alive.
Yeah, that's the most important part here. Felt all the pressure that was coming around. They've been able to retake things before. This they're going to hand over in a similar fashion and say, listen, we could feel the heat across the board. And yeah, what a drone. They give the game away that there's one toying with the idea of the run out its bullet with a C4 in pocket as well. So the play around that bedroom isn't going to be the safest. Those lines of Astro are going to make things curious and dangerous on the swing in there from the top of white. PSK flashes around the corner. He wants an idea of luggage, but it's the split from the opposite side that is actually the biggest bout of pressure. Steadily They've been able to lock themselves in and go for the big rotate all the way around to the Sunrise door. The split is becoming their point of pressure, hoping and trusting they've shepherded the remaining players of FaZe, which is all of them, because yet again, Liquid aren't in the position to be able to take the lives. It's becoming a later and later push, as it was a bit before, but they've done a lot more groundwork than they'd previously managed.
Bullet the one man. Still on a journey. Still on a flank right here, whilst Liquid is trying to hit the site. He has the opportunity to come in big as Nesk now takes down the kill onto Cameraman. That is the cool vibes under control for Liquid. That allows you to cut down any rotation between the sites. I believe that is Cyber coming up close right here with that factor. High rate of fire has the opportunity to come in big as the two members rotate back from the kitchen. They're trying to retake it here. I'm not sure if this will work. You gotta stay put, guys. You cannot just throw all your bodies down onto this Ash right here of Nesk. Picks up one, picks up two, picks up three. He's going for four, but he will not be finding it. His bullet to stay alive, but he will fall right after. Palu will win the round for Liquid.
Well, they desperately believed they needed to keep the vibes cool, but throwing 4 people to the body churner and having it take on the 4th, it was overwhelming by force. Okay, it worked. But you lost so much in doing it. They were holding it and you wanted the retake. You wanted the pressure and the surprise. You thought maybe they weren't paying it as much heed and attention as necessary. Maybe we'd lose one. But Nesk decided he had other ideas. They find one back and we find ourselves in a little bit of a rehost as we reconvene and pace akin to Silence, who is
Not allowed to talk yet.
not allowed to talk yet.
We got the ready call already coming down, and just quickly check in. Put down about 1,500 steps already during this game, so I can show you how much I've been pacing about, talking about the stakes, talking about what is coming up next, and just Nesk able to pick up the triple kill there before he's finally found the player that was able to take him down as he ran out of ammunition himself. Such a great play coming through.
Like, we killed Nesk, but at what cost? What did it cost you?
Everything. It's a case of, like, if we all push at the same time, they can kill us all. And technically it's correct, because
that's
you
like,
killed them all, but you didn't have much left in that case.
All right, one last hold, one last attempt from this defense to, I guess, try and bring us an even split, which would be pretty good. To be fair, in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking Coast, if we're talking attackers from these two teams, we're seeing the balance generally shift into the favor of success. They've been very successful across the board in putting pressure on their opponents, taking either the pockets or the whole shebang and making sure it counts. I'm super excited to see FaZe go and give it their all here, because they were very good on the pace on bigger maps. They take away most of the meat and the kind of gristle of the rest of the building. How much quicker can they be is that point of curiosity, and what else can Liquid do to stop them overwhelming them?
It's the big question here. Liquid a good first 2 rounds, then FaZe able to strike back, and now Liquid able to put in a 5th, or a 3rd on round number 5. And then you're wondering, why was it necessary to retake Cool Vibes? I'm trying to figure it out. It might have been because they wanted to make sure that they didn't have to deal with all the vertical angles that were created, so they could retake the top for control, but honestly, I don't think it was necessary to toss 4 bodies at him.
I think they either underestimated what was going on and how many bodies were up there and thought most of the push was somewhere else, or they didn't expect Nest to be so close. I think they expected to lose 1 body in that situation, reflood the top, and then hold vertical, assuming the rest of them had pushed ready to take the diffuser from underneath. But that's, again, all assumptions. You can only play the assumption game in moments like that. We are not in the comms. We are not in the strat book. We are not in the game to the same degree. We have, again, omnipotence and omniscience, and it's so easy from our situation to, I guess, raise questions and wonder things. But at the end of the day, the stress that these two teams are facing and all the intel that they have, well, that is privy to them and them alone. And here, this mirror window is privy to whoever can stay standing. Cyber is suffering everything. They throw bodies, bullets, drones, and probably the kitchen sink in a moment, but it's the C4 that loops round, doesn't quite catch them, pull back at the perfect time, cooks the grenade, but they are rotated slightly. Fresh angle has the hop through to the hatch if they want to take it. Cameraman has set himself up on the back side of the VIP in case they flip through, but there it is, Palu. finds Cyber on the backboard.
Made it through the rotation, but only with a dead body that was being tossed in by the grenade. And again, the opening kill will be here for Liquid. Make that 2.
Twice.
Just firing through the floor. Indeed, the second time he managed to pick up a kill from that angle.
And the same person, cameraman, trying the same thing. The shotgun on the close entrance. I called it as the watch on the back, but Nesk is well aware of the game. He makes sure that he is the one that wins the gambit, but that frees us up in this situation. Now, they can't quite get the full angle on Hall of Fame until they're able to get rid of that jammer that's around the back of the site as Bullet tries to put pressure back onto the white window and then peels his way around underneath. Keeps them guessing and curious, and with 40 seconds, it's probably the best moment too. They need to start their steady approach towards the site. It begins on Aquador as Astro. He slips back, still with a C4 in pocket, but no more as nothing's there apart from the bullets of Parlu, and Parlu is pocketing every player left. There's a C4 in the pocket of Souls. He slips by over the top and heads to the default. The long arm doesn't catch anybody. They go a bit wide, and it's Moringa that goes wider. Suddenly, Bullet is all that's left. Went for his big rotation and play. They know where he is. He pops the shield, but they pop his head.
This guy saving his teammate's life right there. The down came through due to the shield popping up, and at the moment he will be able to instantly get the headshot down. But even more important, the round is saved. Liquid win that one and are now leading 4-2. We're back in a situation here where I believe we've been here 2-3 times before already, where a 4-2 split for either of these teams.
I think, yeah, it's pretty much every time.
Yeah. And everyone who had the actual 4-2 lead was able to eventually take the map as well. So one a bit more confident than the other. But we'll see if that one will hold up. Warden being brought out by Liquid. That is going to be an interesting one. Maybe expecting to see these smoke takes here that we saw all the way back at Cafe. It feels like hours ago right now, like the start of the day. And of course, there is smokes being brought on cameramen.
Yeah,
actually,
I think
rather than grenades.
that's
and on Bullet.
That's the giveaway of, are they going for a smoke take? There's 2 tick boxes. 1, is it FaZe? Yes.
Okay.
And 2, what did they bring on Iana? Oh, smokes.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you bring smokes over grenades? Yes. Well, that should give away the
That's
game.
a smoke take. And the thing about it is, you especially know it with FaZe because they're very good with grenades. They're very good with explosives. They've demonstrated it time and time again today. But as we've seen many times, they love to do these smoke takes. And I think Warden, it was a great counter pick the first time round. They were able to use it and lock off one of the early pushes from Cafe. There was a bit of a response bait in that they waited on the timing of the glasses and sort of said, no, okay, let's go now. They still lost the firefight when the drop came to it, but it does show this massive awareness of how each other loves to play, how each other loves to approach their attacks and their control and responses to each other.
All right, let's calm it all down as we head into that second half right now. The grenade is being tossed in, smokes are being tossed in at the same time as well. Quite wondering what's going on here. A lot of the utility has been used, but only the smoke canister really pops. Both grenades, I believe, no, just one has been tossed in. 2 smokes. There's nothing to do with it. Like, Moringa's using those glasses and is like, I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious what they were attempting there. I think the smokes were... They were going for something aggressive with the grenade, hoping somebody was on the bar. Because to be fair, that grenade was perfect if someone was behind the bar on the chassis, which they often are. They were, I guess, expecting the ADSs on the close window and just trying to burn them with the first 2 smokes. I get what they were doing, but I think that was Moringa like, smoke rush. Oh, no, wait.
It was with a lack of information, and well, Moringa used the Google, well, not Google glasses, smart glasses.
Smart glasses.
I keep on calling them like that.
I don't know.
Either way, they used them, didn't see anything. Paulo now comes around the corner, picks up a kill, goes for the second right here, spots him right around it, but doesn't land the shot. Astro will, however, clean headshot.
Scratches his name into the Hall of Fame and then goes down to try and write a new song elsewhere, which is, I guess, let's try and keep our team in this as he did on Cafe, frequently pulling these big clutch moments and rounds. Can they do it on Coast is the dance. Again, that wall is jammed, held off, so they've got to try and dig themselves deep. They're getting pings of a body that's just loose and dancing on a soft wall, still pinged and still holding off. They're playing the game of, well, there's a Banshee here. I don't want to give my location away just yet because I'm concerned that they're going to swing me. Let's get some cover here first, lads. We've got 50 seconds, more than enough time to reshuffle and sort of replay our cards in our hand. There is the pop on the wall in the backside. He has some support, and there goes that hard wall too. That puts the Warden in a very tricky situation. Locks off and sprayed over the suffered side, though. It seems like it might have been dropped. They did. As Nesk digs up, gets the charge, and gets the man who threw it as well. It's one more on the door. Iana goes down. And suddenly it's just Cyber in the sight yet again. Sprays and swung, but Liquid tie 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, the amount of time that Cyber is able to just find himself in the middle of the side to pick up kills.
You take your eyes off him for a second.
You take your eyes off it. Like it's funny as well because he literally just took out the Banshee 5 seconds earlier, and then you're seeing all the action unfold, and suddenly he's in Aquarium pushing in the middle of the bar on billiards. It's like, how did he get there? He's literally Shift Wing across the map right there, able to come up in the back. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough for them to pick up the round now on FaZe, and Liquid are getting one closer. It is 2-5, and you know what that means. One more round, and we find ourselves on a map and a match point. And it's not just going to be one. It could be 4.
One more round.
Lot.
One more round. And well, it's been a bit of a doozy so far. It was 2, then 2, then for the first time 3 rounds threaded in a row. Something that is, it's been still this consistent juggling of control, going back and forth. They've been able to take their first defense. They find themselves in a situation on Kitchen now to see if they can, I guess, bring balance and FaZe. Long conversations. They've been able to find some success after their attack timeouts before. It led them to 2 rounds previously. It led them to necessary ones in games earlier on in the series. Inside the day itself, it's the end of a long day for some of these teams, some of these players. And this room is still just getting hotter and warmer every single round.
Every single round. And the teams get louder and louder as well. You might see the faces of FaZe. The pressure. You can read it off. Either way, the Warden will be making his re-entry. And again, we see the smokes coming down on cameramen. We see Bullet again, and there it is. It's an Amaru. Where do you use it here? It's not for a fast plan, that's for sure.
No. My usual assumption with an Amaru on this map is to get to the roof and cut off rotations.
Yeah.
Get up onto the box. Because there was almost a moment where they punished an early bit of a rotation before. If you can get yourself to a situation where you're looking in and amongst that core of the danger donut that Coastline is, before people expect it, well, it wouldn't be the first time you've A, punished teams by doing that, and B, especially had teams punished on this map.
Who was it that on the desk said Nesk is the best player that has ever walked in Latam? Was it Demo or was it X? Was it both, maybe?
It might have been both.
Look at them right now. 13 on 4.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's X then, because
you don't want to give Demo his ride as, this could be dangerous.
Yeah, he was eyeing the idea of making security suddenly way less secure. There it is. He's up. He drops just in front of the goo mine. Around the corner of it, the firefight comes out in office. Now he drops it, but look at the remaining bodies of FaZe quickly trying to offer him some support. Astro survived. But how much longer will he be able to hold in? You can see Palu's going for a bit of a rotation. They want to offer Moringa a bit of that extension, a bit of help and health as Cameraman is having a big deep right in the ruins. Moringa digs himself close and wins it. Somehow takes care of Astro and is able to swing himself through, resecuring security. Pulling out of office as Cyber is the one that moves in and retakes the space like a hermit crab, but he is way more likely to throw off the shackles of a shell and see if he can do something, well, more dangerous and debonair.
Trying to sneak around. They know that the goo mine has been taken out and will be able to pick up that kill for free. Moringa stayed inside and will be punished for it. Now it's going to be Cameraman and Cyber that have control of security right here. Smoke canisters have been popped, but a very long angle will allow him to watch all the way through to that door. But again, nothing will be done with the smoke. But it's only the first of the 4 that they have available to them to be used. So there's still 3 more available, but just look at the amount of drones. 1, 2 left in pocket. That's what they need to deal with for these next 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's all they have to try and get the information, of course, with the Geminis as well.
3C4 is still in pocket too. There's the grenade yet again. I talked about how FaZe are so good with them, and then they just demonstrate it right round the next round. But Taxi Cake, make sure you don't last much longer than that. Swung on the back. The Warden is ever vigilant, and now here comes a bit of a response. Cameraman has one smoke canister to potentially cut off a bit of an angle for a split second against the Warden. Instead, goes for the swing close on that storage corner. It's a double down on a man who's inside, but Nesk, he's also there too. It just leaves these two. They go deep on the rotate, and Bullet gets it 2 versus 2. 40 seconds, and Nesk finds yet another piece of the puzzle. The picture he is putting together is, yeah, you're right, I am this great player. I am so often cited and seen as being one of the best in the world, and I am hoping to keep that mantle of being the best in Latin America. The one thing that's missing from his toolbox is that hammer. Bullet pops down the kit and goes for the plant. Gonna stick it, why not? Had the time, has a smoke canister, and now has a lot of expectations. Either side it swings. Palu's the first to go. The C4 goes next. There's Nesk, there's one more! And there is a man yelling out a declaration. Yeah, maybe I am the best in the region.
Maybe he is. Is there any question about it right now? He is showing up big here. Getting the clutch done. Getting the kill. Getting the round. 2 on 6-4 match points are here. Currently, the man is on 16 kills. If this would go all the way to max OT and Nesk keeps playing like he does right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with like 26, 27 kills. He would outdo the frag record that Paula put down on OGA, which was 26 kills, I believe.
Well, is it better or worse when you're taken past by a teammate?
I don't know.
How does Vettel feel all the time?
I don't think he feels great.
To be honest, no one on this roster is. It's a team of Lewis Hamilton.
It's only Lewis Hamilton's indeed. If you want to make the reference to F1,
I will.
But
for you,
thank you. I really appreciate it. F1 is my passion, just like Siege.
Yep.
Either way, Liquid are a round away, and they have 4 rounds to make that 1 round happen. But I have a feeling. And you know, okay, I'm not going to say it because the last time I said I had a feeling, I said it was going to OT, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm not going to be sharing the feeling that I'm currently having. It's going to be all up in the air, and I'll say whether or not I was right at the end. But it is Liquid. They have the opportunity to close it out, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but 4 times right now. The pressure is on FaZe. You saw the stress earlier on in their faces, and well, that stress will have multiplied. Because this 1 round could mean that their tournament is over and they will be going home.
4 rounds is what has been tied in a row for Liquid 2. It is far from impossible, but it is in no way easy. The hardest tasks, then the most rewarding, never are, unfortunately, FaZe, and you've got to try and dig deep, find some of the pace and the caliber that you've been able to have throughout this tournament so far. Else, you will not be going forward, you will not be progressing, and you will not be lifting the hammer this time round. They could have set themselves up for a very spread out defense as they've been able to do before. Nesk is inside and above. Hookah has a lot of support in terms of structure, but currently no bodies outside of the 2 C4s that might get ripped torn from underneath. There's one dangerously living. I think that's PSK inside Aqua to inside office underneath Aqua, and it is ready with Sexy Cake offering some rotation from the lobby. They could try and split themselves in this situation. Another grenade. Not quite a catch this time. PSK goes deep, goes big, gets 1. Digs back round before the second goes for a swing. I think they've gone round the close side. Pops the head, goes for it, but PSK gets 2, gets the double, and gets the diffuser down inside the office.
That is a Christmas package that just has been delivered to their front door, and Bullet will now try and recover it as well. There is all the Liquid members coming around as cameramen will be cutting off the rotation, starting it off, taking down Nesk. This incredible player, PSK! The triple kill will come in. Only 2 are left. Cyber will be pushing from the lobby as cameraman takes down Palu. There is still a lot of work to do here for FaZe. They need to recover that diffuser. They have a minute to do it, but 3 members of Liquid to dig through. Are they able to do it as the time ticks down and they know exactly where both these players are due to that one camera still being up?
Caught by the default, and you can see the rotation, the double down of the bodies around the diffuser. They're playing Protect Mr. President. If he was inside a very small box, that was the key to them getting through to the next round. Moringa suffers from a quick swing inside and underneath as they try and reconvene either side. Cyber with a big take, and Cameraman, what a moment for you to finally get off the bottom of the board, finding the triple. They find their round, and FaZe with a clutch that was as necessary as anything, but also against all odds. It's not over yet.
And it's not over yet. We get to live another round. The tables are being slammed hard by these players because they know there is an opportunity to come back. It looked pretty dire for them when the diffuser were dropped and 3 singular players were taken care of by PSK, who then found himself caught off by a bit of an unfortunate angle, exposing himself to the door. And as you see right there, the grenade not quite far enough. PSK for one. Ghost Brown realizes the push is actually coming in from his back, so turns around, wins that gunfight. Drops that diffuser very deeply. And yes, Cameraman able to find some good responses, we have to say. 2 on that row that he managed to shut down. It's being portrayed currently.
Oh, that was a hell of a take. Right from underneath Cyber. Swinging around to offer the support. As I said, it was a perfect moment for Cameraman to show up, pushed as far into the corner as you could be. 007. But then he remembers he does have that license to kill and finds a fair few bodies for himself inside the round. They have something after having nothing for such a long period of time, but they still have the worst bit of the something, which is 3 more rounds. 3 more rounds just to get to OT, just to have a chance of not going home, and just to have another swing at having a swing with the hammer.
If it helps, they're 25% through the rounds they needed to dig through to get closer. It is getting closer and closer, of course, and it's still a tall mountain to climb. Especially with how accurate Liquid has been and how accurate Nask has been. It's good that they managed to shut him down that last round. It's otherwise it could have been over right now. We would have been celebrating Liquid's victory over FaZe, but it's not quite there yet. Liquid have 3 map and match points. FaZe need to fight back, and the way that they will do this is put up some pressure from Aqua. The Gemini replicator will be dropping in to gain some information, and will be followed up shortly by Cyber, who wants to go for an aggressive early kill yet once again.
Sexy Cake is underneath with the C4. They can try and block it off if they dig themselves in onto the default. Hasn't been contested yet, but they will be most likely aware of this presence. It's whether he has the knowledge of theirs. The holes are open and they're popping underneath to try and get this big back wall open. There it goes. Sexy Cake opens the floor, and Cyber is the man who falls first this time round. A big loss. He might have been able to pop off the back of the hard wall there to allow those Selmas to steadily breach. He does. He gave his life for this job. FaZe, you got to make sure it was worth it.
Grenade flies in, but the ADS will catch it. 1 left in the pocket, will fly through, but will not deal a single point of damage to any of the Liquid members. And as the smokes are being deployed right now, they want to maybe try and go for a plan, but it seems like that's not the case. They're rotating around, they're running through luggage now. Into the hallway they go, hoping to potentially outrun these Liquid members. Astro comes around the corner with the diffuser, will be dropped. And a C4 comes in, but it's way too far. It's 2 members down on the side right now. They somehow bring it back to equal numbers, but there's still pressure on either side. Still pressure from the cool vibes. Will they make it stick?
Such a dangerous firefight. Moringa is the last line that's otherwise a spread, and he's able to spread his way through. Palu gets 1 more. It's all down to Bullet now. Dug in on the corner. Pre-fires towards the 1 man. 30 seconds, but they know exactly where he is. They're watching every single route out. He has no room to move, but enough skill to take it himself. It's Palu that locks Liquid in. They are the survivors, the victors. A long day of success is behind them. FaZe have fallen.
FaZe have fallen, and Liquid will ride on as they manage to lock it out here. Beautifully played. In control throughout the entirety of Coastline. You can almost say they have 4 match points, and look at the emotions that are coming out right now.